Hello, hello, how we doing? It's Eloso here, not the Fantastic Fat Man. Fantastic Fat Man's a little bit busy today, so I'm gonna be coming at you with the quarterfinals. We got Sunnyside JV versus Free Agents, and here, co-casting next to me, a surprise guest, currently the highest ranked Fresno player, not highest peak, you know, Zillion one trick, and Echo one trick. Can't play anything else. But would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. T4D?
What is up? Well, I mean, I guess you kind of did it for me, man. As you said, highest ranked in Fresno, to my knowledge. But yes, for those of you who don't know me, I am T4D, also known as Sebastian, here to, of course, not replace Fantastic Fat Man, as he does so much work for us at AOE. But I'm hoping to just do the best I can to fill in his shoes for today, getting my play-by-play vocals ready here alongside my best friend El Oso. Are you ready for this series?
Yeah, I don't know about best friend, but yeah, I'm hyped for this series. We got a little bit of delay. Not everyone's in the lobby yet, so we're gonna have to wait up a bit. Free agents is ready, bro. They want the smoke. It is a best of five today, not a best of three, like we were saying earlier. So I'm kind of interested to see how Sunnyside JV is gonna do in a long series, cause I think free agents got a couple of people who have played like best of five, best of threes before, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, we know Ow Charlie Ow. I got to play with him. I don't think we played a best of five together, but he's been around in AoE for a majority of the season. I'm sure he's gone involved in at least one of them. We have Chezzy as well. And so, yeah, like you said, best of five, I feel like that changes the whole dynamic of this series. As we know, Sunnyside JV definitely was. I mean, as you can see by the seeding, they were a higher ranked team coming into this, but all of that kind of goes out the window when you put yourself in a best of five, because it just means that there are so many other factors that maybe these young bloods on Sunnyside JV aren't able to live up to this time around. But either way, I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, best of fives always are a lot tougher. So I think it's fair to say me and you have a decent amount of experience in like best of fives, best of threes, and I feel like the biggest thing for me personally is who can play more consistent, right? Like who can play consistent the longest. It's not about how someone pops off in one game. It's all about just who can keep their mental okay.
Exactly. Like I said, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and as you mentioned, I mean, it's consistency, right?
Mm,
You take one game in a best of one, and that's it. You manage to take the victory, but in a best of five, it's like, all right, we took game one, but like, all right, what's the strategy? How can someone adapt? How can the entire team adapt going into the next game? Maybe you lose that first game and you realize, hey, that's all we needed to figure it out. Like they showed all their hands.
yeah.
And so there's so much going into it, and that's why I think that even if I feel like Sunnyside JV might be the favorites today, free agents definitely hasn't been too far behind in that sense. They have a lot of strengths within their own team, and I'm just really excited to see how they can adapt for this best of five series.
All right, so real quick before the series starts, right? I want predictions, and then I want who do you want us to face? Because we're facing the winner of this team, so we're casting the winner of the team, or we're casting the team who's gonna face us. So, so who do you think is gonna win, and then who do you want to face?
I mean, honestly,
Hmm.
I do think that Sunnyside JV is still a favorite. I feel
Hmm.
like they actually have been. Despite the seeding, I think they've been a really strong team. I mean, they are the only team that has taken down our team, Grizzly Gaming,
Hmm.
in the regular season. So, I mean, they have shown a lot of strengths. And so, even in this best of five, even if they are maybe a little bit more volatile due to, being that younger team, I
Hmm.
do think that they are the clear favorites today. I think they've shown a lot of strengths. I'm actually surprised to see that they're the fourth seed, considering
Yeah.
I haven't exactly kept up with the standings. I'm actually really surprised to see them down that low, considering how good they have tended to play. So I think it's gonna be maybe a 3-1 for in favor of Sunnyside JV.
3-1 playing it safe, dude. Not saying the 3-0. Okay, so for me personally, right, I personally think that it's all about consistency. And yeah, free agency hasn't picked up a lot of the dubs, but hear me out here. All right, I'm not just saying this to be crazy. So I think free agents can potentially take this 3-2 just based off the fact that consistency is so key. And although like I said, like free agents hasn't won much, but they play consistent every time, and I'm sure they worked on the fact on how to close out these games, how to actually use their leads, because I feel like it's kind of a tough matchup for SunnysideJV.
Yeah, and I
For
like that you
yeah.
mentioned that. Sorry, go. Do you want to finish up
Yeah,
your
yeah,
idea?
because yeah, for me personally, because Duyangu, I don't know who can stop Duyangu. Like we have Hostile Avocado, right? But they have Zeros in, and Zeros in, he seems a little weak when you ban out those champions. So that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned it. That was my exact thought going into the series is Duyangu. I think far and away, this guy is exciting. I don't know where he came from. Allegedly GM on Vietnam, and I think he's shown a lot of that. The one game they managed to pick up during the regular season was Duyangu going in on his signature Darius. Disrespectful, not banning it in that ban phase, and as a result, he put the entire team on his back. And well, I'm glad to see you have a lot of faith in free agents. The only thing is, as you mentioned, they've had some really good showings in the early games, but they haven't really shown that ability to close out a game. And I feel like even if they have been practicing, heading into this competitive environment, it's completely different, right? It's
Mm.
completely different in being able to have that ability, and maybe not enough experience to able to pull together like that synergy to close out 3 games in a best of 5 series, which is my big concern for this team.
Yeah. So like I'm sure you've been on the team where not like everyone has the same ideas of the game, but eventually you have to realize at the end of the day you want to win. So you somehow find a way to make sure everyone's on the same page to close out these games. And I feel like free agents, like it's very obvious they see the game differently. I feel like, right?
Correct.
Would you agree? Yeah. So it's, um, it's similar to like how Fnatic, if you watch Fnatic's voice comms, it's where all of them are kind of on different angles, like different. They view the game differently, and they're all talking about different things to do after they win a team fight. And I feel like it's very. I feel like you would hear a very similar thing from free agents. But I think when push comes to shove and it's these games and it's over, I feel like they'll be able to pull through.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, different ideas coming out. I mean, after all, they are a free agent team.
Yeah.
A bunch of just, I mean, but you love to see it, right? I mean, it's a bunch of just passionate
Mm,
players. Like they didn't manage to get a full team of 5 together, so they got thrown together. And for what it's worth, they've had like I said, they've had
mm,
impressive showings in the early games. And this team they have nothing to lose, right? I mean, they're
mm.
coming in here, they're just playing because they're passionate. I don't even know if they all knew each other going into this team,
Definitely
but
not.
yeah, I don't think I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
definitely
they did
not.
not. So it's like, the fact that they managed to pull that one game away from, I believe it was Sunnyside Varsity.
Yeah.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they managed to pull that game away from a pretty prominent team in AOE is enough to show you that they're capable of pulling out games. So I'm really excited. Like you said, Duyangu, but not to mention they have a lot of other experienced players in every role. So I'm just super excited to head into the series.
Yeah. So I think the reason why I say it's 3-2 is because I believe Sunnyside JV can take a quick 2 games, and that's why this series gets completely changed up for me. The fact that it's like a best of 5 now instead of just a best of 3, because it's very easy to chase 2 games. I could have avoided heartbreak in Worlds, and Fnatic could have gone to semis. I would have been a happy boy. I would have woke up. I would have had tears in my eyes. I would have prayed to Reckless and Selfmade. But I wake up to terrible news that they got reverse swept. So all I'm
True,
saying
true.
is that can happen, right? Like 2 quick games can happen. I feel like that's how Sunnyside catches people off guard. Is they get like a quick couple of games of how do they play, because it's very hard to identify how JV plays. They play very different from Varsity, I would say. Varsity, I think it's very obvious that Dark Blaze wants to make a lot of the plays along with Sun Headpats, but for JV, I feel like it's a majority of the time it is B-Boy Slow, but you don't know who B-Boy Slow is going to come with because everyone's so willing to help him out.
Yeah, when I think of SunnysideJV, I think scrappy. I think
Mm,
they're just gonna try to outpace you at every point in the game, and that's exactly what you mentioned. Is sure it's easy to get that quick 2-0, and as we saw, even at the highest level of competition, it could lead to anywhere 2-0
mm,
to 3-2 in opposite direction. So you're right in the fact that just like we mentioned earlier, Sunnyside JV, while they have been this explosive team, it's hard to say that they'll be able to close out 3 games in this best of 5 series. So I'm definitely not counting free agents out. As you mentioned, Sunnyside JV, maybe they don't have the ability to throw out that last third punch for the third game, and
mm.
maybe that's exactly what free agents need to, as long as they're able to show their mental durability, maybe they can come back in the series. Well, I'm saying come back as if they're already down, right? But
Yeah,
for all
yeah,
we know, free agents is able to pull out what I would consider an upset, but I definitely don't think it's too too separate in terms of power between these two teams, right?
yeah. So what I'm thinking about is for me personally, what I'm thinking about is I don't see how like I'm having trouble seeing how JV is gonna checkmate free agents in the draft besides just the Darius and Wukong ban. And I feel like Yingu has been banned long enough to the point where he should have secondary picks.
Right. Yeah, and I
Uh,
didn't want to touch exactly on what those picks would be, but I'm sure
yeah,
that right from the get-go, it's been mainly Darius bans, Wukong bans.
yeah,
I believe we've seen him pull out things such as the Alawi that I mean, I don't want to leak picks here, but I mean, we all saw it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The
We also
Alawi
yeah. I'm only going by things
versus
we saw on the broadcast.
yeah, for sure. Lowry versus Boomer Boys, where
Mhm.
even though they weren't able to pull out that win, he was putting up a fight, 1v3, 1v4
Yeah,
in that top lane. It was ridiculous. So I'm really excited to see how Diego manages to perform. And I think in order to be able to pull out this series win, though, I think that we're gonna have to see maybe a little bit more of a step up from the rest of the team. You have players such as Chezzy and Ao Charlie out in the bot lane. We've seen both of them have their fair share of plays. They've been around AOE for quite a long time now, and I feel like now's the time. I mean, it's now or never, right? You got to get your
yeah,
synergy together. You got to show that you're capable. Is like you got to show everyone else in AOE why didn't you pick us up? Why didn't you get us in a team? Now's your time to shine, right? And so
yeah.
I feel like we haven't gotten to see too much of that bot lane having an impact in these games, but you gotta. We know both of those players are very very mentally durable, and hopefully they manage to get their comfort together right now because regular season doesn't matter, right? If you're able to make your push through the
That's
playoffs
true.
at the right time.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Didn't we saw Team Bacon Yumi in draft one, right? That was last place coming into the draft and then managed to win it all.
Yeah, they
Like
came
it's
from the
happened
bottom.
before.
They won that best of three against our team, team 4D, and yeah, but I mean, hey, it was a little less disappointing to see it to lose that series as we saw them go all the way to the finals and take it all. So you're right on that one.
Have we ever seen a number one seed team win? Oh no, yeah we have. Season 4 and season 3 of AOE, correct? Corn
Yeah, I
Dogs
think
and New Horizon.
Horizon. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Those teams. That was the last time it's happened. So it's been a while, right? Because this is season 5 AOE draft one. We had the last place team come out first, and then we had the third seeded team win it all. AOE draft two.
Yeah, and I feel like that
Yeah.
applies now to this season more than any other season, where I feel as if the level of competition has kind of maybe plateaued or evened out, as in like there's not like one clear team to be the victor.
Hmm.
I feel like I mean not to be completely unbiased, I do think that Grizzly Gaming has shown that they're a number one team, but I don't think that the teams right below them have been any slouches. As we already mentioned, Sunnyside JV being the fourth seed was the only team to take a game from that number one seed in Grizzly Gaming. So the level of competition is a lot closer than we've seen in past seasons. So now is more like a better time than ever to see like to hope for these upsets and these like scrappy best of 5 series. Hopefully, I'm ready for 5 games, man. But
I don't
We'll
know if
see.
my
We'll see
voice
how
is
it.
ready for 5 games, man. I was
Me
screaming in
neither,
scrims yesterday. You were screaming in scrims. We got people asking for a bunch of hydrates. Do you got your camera on? I don't even think I can add you to the production, but I'm gonna have to
Yeah, I
claim these
didn't think so.
hydrates. Hopefully the series does start soon. I just want this set to be competitive, but I'm also really disappointed. Real quick, you touched on it a bit. That Sunnyside JV was fourth seed. It was pretty unfortunate that they couldn't get any wins on Boomer Boys or Sunnyside Varsity to get the third seed. I think it's pretty clear that Boomer Boys is the second seed, but if they would have been able to get the third seed, we would. I feel like these two teams are both of the underdogs, right?
You're right.
Because they've
Yeah.
shown signs of life, but it's just they haven't been able to just completely come back alive, right? They got a little pulse coming up. You know, they're not functioning. They're not fully functioning yet, but they got a little bit of a pulse.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I'm still like in shock because I swear I thought Sunnyside JV was gonna be like higher seeded than even Boomer Boys or Sunnyside Varsity, and so to see them down here, it's almost like as a player, I'm almost like disappointed that we're gonna have to potentially run into them in that next game, right? In that next series. So I was hoping to see them maybe make like I'm a big underdog fan, so
Yeah.
I was excited to see them make like watch the other side of the bracket and hopefully see like the even run into them.
Mhm.
But I mean, unfortunately, that's not going to happen, and but either way, like you said, I'm just hoping for a competitive series nonetheless. Whether it's JV or free agents coming on top, it's gonna be a good one. Hopefully, I think it'll be
Mhm.
exciting regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. Um, you mentioned you don't want to see Sunnyside JV, so shouldn't you be rooting for free agents if you don't want to see Sunnyside JV?
No, I said I wanted to see them, but I wanted
Oh,
to see them on the other side of the bracket.
okay,
Like I
okay.
wanted to see, not necessarily because I wanted to avoid them, right? But
Mhm.
because I wanted to see how they would do, like how they would fare against other teams.
Mhm.
Like I said, they're so volatile that we say it could be a weakness, but it could also be a tremendous strength where, they're kind of that newer team. I mean,
Mhm.
we have some familiar faces, especially as we know Glizzy got in the
Yeah.
bot lane.
Mhm.
But for all we know, I mean, best of five series, they run into Boomer Boys, who, as you said, is pretty clear second seed. They have been fairly dominant. I
Mhm.
think did they drop a game to anyone besides Grizzly Gaming?
To my knowledge, no.
I don't
In
think
the
they
in,
did,
in the
right?
regular season, right?
Yes, yeah.
Sunnyside Varsity. They dropped one game to Sunnyside Varsity.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
dropped one game to the
Yeah.
third seed, which I mean, Sunnyside Varsity is up there in the runnings for like one of the better teams.
Mhm.
So, but like in that best of five series, I would have liked to see this explosive team go up against some of the other teams. I feel like it would have made for some great series. So
Yeah,
a little
definitely.
disappointed in that, but either way, like I as a player, I don't care who we play. I just play whoever's in front of me. But as a caster and as a spectator, I would have loved to see them have this opportunity against other teams as well.
For sure. It looks like we're finally gonna be starting. We see everyone joining the lobby. I'm pretty hyped. Oh man, dude. The
So
first game will tell a lot, right? Would you agree?
I would definitely agree.
Okay.
I feel like if I'm scared for free agents because I feel like a lot of their losses were pretty one-sided, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel like if you get off to a bad start in this first game, if you're free agents, it can be very mentally like deteriorating. Like you see this game and you're like, yeah, we weren't able to pull together in time. Which it's important to not have that mentality, but it's very easy to considering your lack of success in the regular season, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
definitely.
so I just feel like if free agents isn't able to give a good run for Sunnyside JV's money, not even necessarily take the first game,
Mhm.
but not put up a competitive match, it can be very scary, right? You can lose track of like your your mental in that case, but like you said, very indicative first game, and I feel like the same could go for Sunnyside JV. Those young cats.
Yep.
It can be very scary to lose a first game of a best of five because then you start panicking, right? You feel like you don't know, like, should we show all our cards right now? Like,
Mhm.
what should we hold on to? Things of that nature. And so, yeah, like you said, very, very important first game.
Yeah. For me personally, I always like showing my cards early and then just playing, resorting to standards. I know in the past I've done like the cheesy pick in the game fours and the game fives, but I personally like doing them first because then in the enemy team's eyes they have to essentially ban it or think of a strat on the spot to go against it, right?
Definitely. And I think that in those cases as well, like best of five, you're like you're in the playoffs. There's no elimination bracket, right? So it's just like
Mm.
you have to win the series. You got to do whatever you can to
Yep.
win this series. And so it's like you got to take a game where you can take a game. So you don't have any breathing space to like not show any cards, right? You just got to go at it and just do what you can.
Yeah.
So hopefully neither of these teams hold back any punches and they just show all that they have been working on for this past season.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. For me personally, right? Hear me out. Okay, this might be crazy. Okay. Funnel. What what are your ideas on funnel? What if we see a Diango funnel? What if we see a GXT funnel? We know GXT is an 80 carry main.
This is true.
Hey man, all I'm saying is I've seen Kaiser Braun before. It's not that good anymore. But I'd be willing to see it.
I don't even want to talk about it because I do not think free agents will pull out the funnel.
Okay, you
I
don't
don't
even
think
want to talk about
any
it?
other team would pull out. I mean, realistically,
Do
I
you
think
do you have
that
some harsh thoughts that come to mind when you think of funnel?
it's
Before
not
you...
even that. It's just that I don't think that
Mhm,
like when these teams are thinking of like how they, I think at the end of the day, one thing that I can say about the AOE teams is that players that are on every team, I think they're all looking to improve as players, right? And so I don't think that when they're thinking is like how can we get better? How can we move up on the standings? Funnel is the first thing that comes to mind. I don't think that was something that they put in on their flex games in their scrims. So
mhm,
I mean, if they pull out the funnel, then I'm ready to cast the funnel, but I'm
mhm.
not expecting the funnel. So I don't know if you want to touch up on your thoughts with the funnel and how it would work or what you think about it. But I'm just saying I do not expect it, but I'm ready to be surprised. I'm open to the surprise.
Yeah, I'm not expecting the funnel either. Honestly, I just wanted to make a call back to our series, to our last
Just
series.
wanted to rub the salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
I
Hey
see.
man, you're rubbing highest elo in Fresno currently in my face, man. I got to bring up some old stuff.
Hey man,
Uh,
you're the one that mentioned it. I just had to ride it, so I will gladly claim that title.
Alright, Glizzy God finally joining the lobby. We should be able to start a little bit of a wait. So it did send out the pro draft links. I want to see the draft. I want to pay close attention to the draft this time around, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. I just want to see them start it because I don't necessarily want to talk about the draft. Remind the players who are watching the stream who should be focusing on their plans. But sometimes, you watch the stream, you just pop in to see what's going on. But I just want to see, like, with no bias from us, like, how are they going to approach the draft? And I think that's going to be pretty important for the series.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier, where I feel like a lot of free agents' power this season has come from what is Diangu playing, right? But I definitely want to see a little more depth to their drafts than that.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, with the lack of success that they've had, I feel like you kind of just go to comfort. You pull off. I mean, it's one thing to like Fantastic Fat Man always says,
Mm-hmm.
comfort over counter, right?
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
build on top of that, I would really just like to see free agents get something like synergistic down, but like simple to execute, right?
Yep.
Like I feel like a lot of teams focus on like, oh, what's being played right now, like what champions are really strong right now, but it doesn't matter if you can't execute it to its highest strength, right? So why default to those quote unquote meta characters when you can pull off a very simple comp that has a lot less downside and will allow you to focus on not just your champion's mechanics, but more of the execution, right? The team
Mm-hmm.
fight execution and like how these pieces are fitting together and how they're gonna execute their macro gameplay like actually in game, right?
Yeah, definitely. Um, trying to think. Like for me personally, like you see teams we won't say who we scrimmed against, but we scrimmed against a team yesterday as well, and they tried to go for the world's meta, and it was very obvious like they weren't comfortable on it, right? And we just went with our comfort, and yeah, like you were saying, like it's always comfort over whatever people are playing. So hopefully, free agents have been playing very simple to execute comps. It's also easier to learn, right? So if you play something that's
Exactly.
very easy to execute, okay, we just layer our ultis here, you find the issue of what's going on with your team a lot quicker.
Exactly. That's like just like I mentioned, you gotta if you're too focused on all your Z mechanics, how are you gonna actually focus on your wave stay and your rotations as a team, right? Like
Yeah, your
there's
roam
more to it than
timings.
just making exactly. It's more to it than just getting down your combos and solo killing the enemy laner, right? What are you gonna do once you solo kill that mid laner? Or what how can you win the game besides just simply out mechanicking the enemy team, right? And so we are starting on the draft. So as we see on the side of SunnysideJV, the Darius ban and the Wukong ban come out very quickly. On top of that, Chezzy's Tristana is taken out. And on the side of free agency, we see the Yone, the Syndra, which of course is a Glizzy God classic, followed up by another Glizzy God classic in the Cassiopeia. So what do you expect to be first picked on the side of SunnysideJV here?
Yeah, I would assume with how they did the band, they do Jin. Not anything that I was expecting, honestly. Um, what were you expecting first pick? For me, I was expecting the Hecarim, right? Hecarim wasn't banned.
I think I see the idea
Mm-hmm.
and the Jhin. As we know, Chezzy has definitely been favorable towards the Jhin and the Tristana, which they took out in the ban phase. So I guess that their idea was like, okay, we're gonna force them onto something a little less comfortable, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
definitely am with you in that I expected either the Hecarim or the Volibear. I feel like Sunnyside JV has placed a high priority on the jungler first pick in the past. But Chezzy didn't show any fear, right? I mean, he auto picked that Ezreal and the Rakan, which we've seen Al Charlie out on.
And then
So definitely some curveballs, but nothing too crazy.
yeah, that doesn't really seem like a strong lane, but that doesn't seem too bad in the team fighting, right? Like team fighting with Ezreal Khan seems pretty nice because of how many dashes you guys got.
Oh yeah, it's very fluid. But as you
Mm-hmm.
said, I mean, both of those champions aren't the strongest laners, so
Yeah,
it's kind of screaming like weak side, weak side, weak side bot lane, right?
yeah,
And we see the Gragas Yasuo combo coming out from Sunnyside JV. Not sure if we saw that in the regular season, so that's very exciting to see. I mean, I think we might have seen B-Boy Slow pull out the Gragas. I think there might have been one game in AOE. I don't
mm-hmm.
want to leak any scrim strats, but definitely something that we didn't see every game. So
Yeah,
pretty crazy combo right there. Pretty I mean, like we said, we didn't want to see something crazy mechanically from either side, but that's definitely something that screams like we're trying to scrap it out, right?
yeah, definitely. Free agents seem like they understand what bands are coming out and they like aren't even phased. We see Gragas also. That's you mentioned a bit how you didn't want to touch too much on it. And this team, Sunny said JV recently role swapped, right? So it's not like they've been playing. Um, they've been playing B-Boy Slow in the jungle and Darrett in the mid lane for too long. So
Yeah, I think when they beat us, they had B-Boy Slow at
support,
support. They
yeah.
had another carry player, so they did role swap, but for the better in a sense. I feel like long term
Hmm.
and like synergy wise, it definitely had a greater impact. And man, we're struggling to keep up with the picks and bans because I mean Graves and Renekton bans coming out from SSJV. So those are two picks we also saw from the side of free agency, and I like the
Hmm.
Malzahar pick. Like we said, keep it simple. We know that that Jinlo likes to play that Malzahar, and I think it's just something that is pretty good to counter the Yasuo. You know, you're just locking down that carry. You're just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make you more useless than I am," right?
Hmm.
And so that's a really good pick. And then the Echo to follow it up. Not sure I'm a big fan because I feel like at this point it's okay. Diangu coming out with the set. I mean, let's just regroup here. What
Yeah.
looking at these two team comps, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking is the win condition on the side of both teams?
So I think the win condition for Sunnyside JV is their late game, mid game team fighting, and I think free agency's win condition probably has to be. I think their early game team fighting in the top side set needs to be able to get a lead in this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As we mentioned earlier, the issue with that is that Ezreal Recon lane is gonna struggle. I
Mhm.
think that I mean Ezreal, you obviously you want to get to your 2 item spike, usually that Manamune and that Triforce or Iceborne Gauntlet. But I definitely see this top side, and we look at the side of Sunnyside JV, and it's just like it's screaming like we want a team fight, right? We want to scale up, we want a team fight, we want to
Mhm.
set up for this Yasuo Malphite pick coming out and the Alistair pick coming out. On top of that, Gragas, it's just like I think that you're gonna have to play through top side and mid lane if you're looking at free agency. I mean, the Malzahar is a pretty good pick to shut down the Yasuo. You know, you might have to force out that early QSS because that's really strong setup for the Echo. But I definitely agree, free agency is gonna have to blow open the game through the set, through the Malzahar, get the Echo ahead, or else they're gonna have a lot of trouble matching that team fighting ability in the mid to late game from the side of Sunnyside JV.
Yeah, what I love about the Sunnyside JV's team comp is they have so many opportunities to get the Yasuo ulti off. You have Gragas Slam, you have the Yasuo's Nado, you have Gragas' ultimate, you have Alistar's Q, you have Malphite's ulti. Like, there's so many tries, right? If you miss one, it's like, alright, what are the chances we miss this one, right? And on the off chance they miss the second one, it's like, okay, now the third one. This one, it's
Yeah,
definitely gotta hit.
they're saying if the Gragas ulti isn't able to knock in a carry, we're gonna have to follow it up with the Alistair combo and the Malphite ulti. So
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, I'm not a personal big fan. Like when I think easy to execute, I don't think a Yasuo comp is the easiest to execute, but I
Mhm.
do love Malphite. I think Malphite is such a ridiculous pick. It's something that offers, tanks are maybe not the best in the meta. I mean, when I think of tanks in the current meta, I think maybe like Ornn, but
Mhm.
Malphite's another one that's right up there in terms of, you build, you just get a ridiculous amount of armor. Your trading in lane is pretty simple. It's the laning phase isn't usually too bad either. It doesn't have some like too many like common horrible matchups,
Yeah.
and it's just like offers that point and click engage, right? Like you press Malphite R, and it's like okay, like that's your entrance into the team fight. Whereas on the other side, free agency, you have a lot more to pilot, right? It's like Set is gonna have to like set up a split push. He's not gonna be as impactful in these team fights. I think Echo is a little hard to pilot too,
Mhm.
especially into that team comp where there's so much like CC. You're gonna get knocked around like a pinball, right?
Mm.
And then it's just like they're dependent on the recon engage. It's just so many things where I just think Sunnyside JV kind of won out on this draft, despite being so focused around a hard to pilot Yasuo because of
Yeah.
the fact that they also have like kind of a clear identity, and they
Mhm.
have that Malphite, which I just think is like
That's the god
a
champ right now.
it's a god. I think that if any if any AOE teams are listening right now, pick Malphite, man. Like that champion is crazy. That champion is just so easy to execute, so useful at any stage of the game. If you fall behind on set, you're kind of doomed, right? If
Mhm.
you fall behind on Malphite, you're still gonna be able to press R, get 3-man ultis. Like you're able to change the game through one ulti, and that's what I think is just really strong about this champion. So
Dude.
I do think that Sunnyside won this draft, but execution is a whole different thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Genlo's Malzahar has the big ability to pop off here since they're going to be so armor focused. I think once he gets the Ludens, the Leandris, the Rallies, it's going to be really hard for Sunnyside JV to be able to respond to that. So if Genlo gets ahead, I think it'll be pretty difficult for Sunnyside JV to play this team comp out. But something I want to mention is like Malphite's actually really insane right now because for me in my games, I don't know about your games, but whenever there's a Malphite in our solo queue games, it just feels like whenever it just feels so bad facing against it because it's so simple to execute that even in solo in in solo queue it's just so powerful as well, right?
Yeah, like yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's so weird for a tank like that. I feel like, as I mentioned too, like the two tanks in the meta right now, I feel like are Ornn and Malphite, and with both of
Mhm.
them, it's like I feel like you're on a timer in a way where it's just like I'm scared that either he's gonna beat me because he's just gonna get so many tank stats and I'm not gonna be able to kill him,
Hmm.
or I'm just scared that he's gonna eventually, like, we're gonna lose track of him and he's just gonna five man um 5-man ult me my entire team and just like win the game off of that. So it's just like that champ is just so high pressure for no reason, right? He's like
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to pilot and yet
Yeah.
he's so like so scary to go against. You got to keep track of him and yeah, that's why I'm in love with that pick. I
Yeah.
really am. I think if you're on the side of free agents, I think that's a pick worth looking into either picking up or getting rid of.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really seen Diango on many tanks. We're probably gonna see like the Bork Black Cleaver set, not necessarily the tank set. But man, dude, I used to be all about the Church of Carthus, but he's received too many nerfs for my taste at this point. That man's been just getting
Riot
hit with
hates
all of
him.
them. Yep, it hurts me, but I think I might have to change to the Church of Malphite if I'm not gonna have to lie to you, man. That champion's way too strong. I'm about the Church of Ornn and the Church of Malphite. I'm gonna preach the word of tank play. I never thought it would come to this, but that's where I am at. This game's gonna start in 30 seconds. So I'm pretty hyped, man.
Hey man, it's a Malphite meta right now. That's all I gotta say about that one. But I mean, touching on the other team free agents, as you mentioned, I mean, Jinlo on the Malzahar, we have seen it, I believe, once or twice in the regular season. Not to the greatest of success, but it's definitely, we know, like comfort over counter.
Hmm.
Jinlo, I believe Malzahar is his most played champion, and as we said, it's very easy to shut down the enemy team if you're looking at the side of SunnysideJV because they are gonna have to. I mean, Malphite's a huge armor stacker. He's gonna have to stack armor if he doesn't want to lose this 1v1 in the side lane against Set. So Jinlo, I mean, for all his struggles, he can easily come out here and say, "Yo, like I'm gonna take over this game as on my main. Like, just give me my main. I'm chilling." I know he has a pretty lax attitude when it goes into the game. Like, despite even after all of his losses, he seems pretty like not phased, right? He's like always like, "Oh, GG's." Like,
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be learning, right? So I'm excited to see what he can do. I feel like this is a good game to show that he can stand with the best of them in AOE and. Same goes for the bot lane. I think Ezreal Rakan is super safe. Like I said, it's pretty weak in lane, but I think for the most part, it should be pretty easy to survive versus the Alistar Jhin, because the
Yeah.
Alistar is just gonna get dodged out by the Ezreal Arcane Shift and the Rakan E as well, right? So
Mhm.
I think both sides are pretty happy with their drafts, but I think that free agents are this kind of plays to their strengths, right? Where they're able to blow out the early games. So we really want to see how much they have improved at their ability to close out the game. Because we mentioned, right, that they're gonna want to blow open this game early, and so
Yeah.
we're really hoping to see that. And if that happens, I want to see how much better their mid to late game has gone.
Yeah. I'm gonna be very excited for their mid to late game. Wondering if there's gonna be an invade. We see free agent stacking.
30 seconds
We
until
see on the
minions
other
spawn.
side the Sunnyside JV going with the always safe 5 point. I mean, they're saying game one, we don't wanna lose to some cheese. We don't wanna set ourselves behind to some cheese. So we're just gonna. And I don't think I like that free agents has the idea of stacking. I just don't think this is the game. I don't really see, like, if I'm looking at the side of Sunnyside JV, I'm not thinking, yeah, this team's gonna invade for sure. Like, their level one's actually pretty mediocre, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
surprised free agents don't invade. I always love invading with the Nezreal, right?
definitely.
It's so oppressive because there's nothing you can pretty much do since you're level 1 and you only have one tool to try to catch onto this Ezreal just slamming all the Mystic Qs, right?
Yeah, I mean, he throws out those mystic shots. He's able to stack his attack speed from his passive pretty easily. Recon W is also like a huge level 1 ability. You can hit multiple targets with that. So, I mean, yeah, but either way, it's pretty standard start from both sides. As we see, what do you think about the jungler pathing on both sides? What would you want to see from the early games of both junglers?
So Echo needs a free gank, so I would have preferred if he pathed towards bottom lane here. Because I don't necessarily see how he's going to be able to get a kill on the top side, and he's definitely not going to be able to get a kill in the mid lane this early because Echo Jungle does not do a lot of damage. I mean, you're pretty familiar with Echo Jungle yourself, man. You were a little bit of a one trick with him not too long ago.
I was definitely quite the Echo abuser earlier in the season. What I will say is, as you said, he does not do a lot of damage, so it is a little odd to see him pathing up. I guess he just wanted to, really get that stronger leash from the bot side. And one thing I will say is that ganking a set lane's actually pretty nice when you're Echo, because he's able to, Set is able to use that face breaker to pull in the whatever enemy laner into the Echo parallel convergence. So it makes for a pretty good setup, but I don't really see a world. And we see fighting in the bot lane, actually. Anyways, yeah, a lot of HP lost on the side of the Rakan. But yeah, as I see, the setup in top lane is pretty good, but I don't really see a world in which they kill the Malphite early, but we'll see. And we see that huge CS gap building up in the top lane. As we said, Diangu is a player to watch, and he's definitely making himself be known early right now.
Dude, that man is seeing his stocks. He's seeing how his stock is just going through the roof, and he's like, it's not high enough for me yet, man.
He's not gonna be satisfied till he wins the series, man. And I'm really excited to see what he can pull out, even just in this game.
Yeah. Man, I really dislike junglers that take so much time to clear. And we see Echo here. He barely got 4 camps done in the times it takes other junglers. Like, other junglers can clear their full jungle at around this time, right? Including the Scuttle and have 28 CS. Oh.
See the setup coming out from the top lane, and I mean, easy flash blown. Like we said, Facebreaker is just like into parallel convergences. It's a guaranteed flash, and to touch on your point, I agree. I think Echo, for that exact reason, is pretty weak. I mean, he also just takes. I think you need to finish that entire runic echoes on him to actually feel like a champion, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's like very early. Oh, and we see collapse onto IA on the Alistair. Nothing coming out of that. Just a lot of. They just love to cut off my points, right? Every time I try to talk about something, they just start scrapping it out and it leads out to nothing. But to wrap up my point, yeah, the Echo early clear definitely does not feel good. As you can see, he's about a camp behind the Gragas, who in himself I don't think is the best clearer. But and one thing I do want to touch on is I feel like the itemization from Gragas is weird. I feel like if you're gonna back that early, you should be buying the Predator boots, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
Catch him out once again. They catch him out, but nothing to worry about here. Just buying a little bit of time. I mean, Gragas is still going for it though, and he body slams blindly over the wall, going onto the Echo, doesn't hit, drops his pink ward and says, now I'm gonna take your Raptors and we'll see. I mean, Jinlo is pretty low under the turret with no mana, so we'll see if B-Boy Slow can go ahead and take these Raptors free of any pressure. I mean, the Darrett is able to come. He says, give me some of those Raptors, baby, and just right under the nose of Echo. I mean, I feel like he should have just conceded that. Jinlo should have just been like, yeah, I can't help you, buddy, and he should have just walked straight to his wolves and say, like, I'm gonna bite the bullet.
Yeah, like...
Sorry, let me cut you off 1 minute, because Diangu's looking mid lane, and he might actually be able to look for play. Flash, Face Breaker into the second auto, takes Darrett's flash, and doesn't matter. You can't flash auto attacks, my boy. Diangu picking up to first blood, exactly what we wanted to see from the side of free agents.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, this is where, if this is a solo queue game, right? You press tab, you're like, okay, well at least my Malphite's ahead in CS, right? And you see that they're still equal in CS despite Diangu going TPing bottom lane, then ganking mid lane, then walking top.
That's crazy. I feel like when I think of those weird TPs where I go from one lane and then just walk to the other, SunnysideJV is the exact team to do that. We often see Glizzy God take TP on like a mage bot laner, TP top, then walk down to another lane. And so it's so weird to me that they didn't expect that. I think Derek was so tunneled on trying to get that kill, that solo kill onto Jinlo, that he didn't expect Set to just walk up into his lane and kill him, even blowing that flash. So I feel like you look at the side of SunnysideJV, there's no flashes on any of the laners, and we see a fight breaking out here. Chezzy going over the wall, Rakan going in too, but they might be baited. IR with the double Alistair combo, and the Yasuo ulti coming out, and Charlie just gets blown up. And just like that, I think free agents bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and this is going to translate into that early kill for the Yasuo. As we mentioned, that's the win con and an early Cloud Dragon.
Yeah, that's a super valuable dragon for the side of SunnysideJV. Little bit of miscommunication, it seemed like. It looked like half of them wanted to fight, the other half didn't want to fight, like we were saying, right? That seems to be an ongoing issue, but still not the end of the world, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, we look at the gold, and I mean, Diango's still building up this huge lead. I mean, we see him just pressuring under the turret right now. He's up about 15 CS, and Chezzy getting rooted under the turret, all the while Diango's fighting. Chezzy's looking pretty low. Diango's looking to get that kill onto Zerozen under the turret. Out Charlie all looking for the roam in the top lane, but he might get sniffed out. I mean, Zerozen having pretty high awareness to pink that tribe rush. And also, B-Boy slow walking to the top lane. Maybe Diango's buying up a little bit more than he could chew, and he doesn't get off his W. Out Charlie out's tanking the turret, all the while Glizzy God kills Chezzy in the bot lane. And this is disaster for free agents as 3 kills just in the blink of an eye go over to SunnysideJV. And as we were saying, the game's not looking too bad. I mean, free agents just half their team dies out of nowhere. Diango gets popped without even being able to use his haymaker into the gank into the mid lane. Darrett overcommitting. Oh, GXT not willing to follow up. Probably for the best, as Alistair was right there to save his mid laner, and that's heartbreaking for the side of free agents not getting that kill.
Yeah, you want to be able to always get a kill with that Malzahar ulti, and GXT not using Flash, and it seems to be the same thing that we've been seeing earlier on in the season. A little too early to speak, but like early on in the season, we saw GXT not really going for plays, not really wanting to put himself at risk, and I think when you play like that, you can kind of see that he does play AD carry, because for jungle, you just gotta go in sometimes. Despite the result, you just have to be able to provide a decent amount of pressure.
Yeah, as you said, maybe a little bit timid, and it's definitely just disappointing that flashless Yasuo, you're committing that Malzahar nether grasp onto him, so not able to get a kill, and it's just this game is quickly falling away from the side of free agents as GXT is getting collapsed on for the Scuttle Crab. We'll see how he gets away from this one. Running into Diango, and all of a sudden, hey, Diango's able to strike fear. I mean, Darrett's getting caught out. Clean combo by the side of free agents, and GXT's getting pretty low though, and they're not able to focus one target. Out Charlie out goes down. Darrett's able to get an ulti off. B-Boy slow goes down, and all of a sudden, Zerozen might be able to clean this up. GXT doesn't have the ultimate. Jinlo's kiting out. Oh, and the Malphite unstoppable force comes out last second, gets that double kill, and out of nowhere will look like a favorable fight for free agents. Actually turns on its head, goes 2 for 3 in favor of SunnysideJV, and even better, that first Rift Herald going over. What a scrappy fight, but free agents isn't enjoying this one too much, you have to think, right?
Yeah, it looks like every time they want to make an aggressive play, SunnysideJV's kind of picking on the tempo. I think Out Charlie out roaming so much is making it very obvious how free agents want to play, and I think they should have just went with Diango being like a hidden danger, right? Because I don't think SunnysideJV really noticed how crazy that play was, where he TP'd bottom, provided pressure, then went to topside. Oh,
the play onto the flash W from the Recon, but Glizzy God has a flash, doesn't even have to expend it. You have to feel like that was just so forced from the side of free agent. Maybe feeling a bit of that pressure to make the plays. Derek going in on mid lane. Jinlo doesn't take the last breath on that Yasuo, and yeah, I mean, Out Charlie out making that play, and now he's going back in. Derek mid lane. Jinlo uses a nether grasp, and Echo's right here to follow up. Ooh. And whoa, Darrett's going down again. Diango's fighting in the top lane versus that Malphite. He's actually losing these trades because of that double buffs, and he might be under pressure here. There's no unstoppable force coming out from the Malphite. Picks up aggro, and okay, I mean, it's getting scrappy. And like you said, going back to your idea of the Recon roams, I agree with you. Diango had this solo pressure topside, right? He got his own lead, and then that TP play gave free agents a way to win the game. But I feel like one thing that supports need to realize is your roam timers are very important. You can't just decide you want to roam at all points of the game, right? you have to like realize that it has an impact on your bottom side of the map. And Yangu flashing in, face breaker, and then the ultimate, but he gets turned on by Zerozon, and all of a sudden free agents are just so behind. I mean, Duyangu getting soloed out by the Malphite. We said that Malphite creates that internal timer for the enemy team, and maybe that timer is going a lot quicker than we would hope if you were on the side of free agents. And now SunnysideJV's looking onto the bot side. They're getting that engage on the out Charlie out, the last breath coming out, and he doesn't even have time to react. 0-4 on that recon. Another dragon. The dragon win con is alive and well for the side of SunnysideJV, and that's an Infernal, which I feel like is insane if that goes over to SunnysideJV. You have such a tanky comp, and you're not gonna lack damage with that, right? And there's so much to talk about, right? I mean, just to finish off my idea, Rakan needs to find better roam times, or else it's not gonna work out, right? It's very projected. And so it's just like, and now you're ruining the bot side of your map too. So I feel like they should have played around Duyangu having that pressure, and now they engage into bot lane. Chezy's getting ultied. Gragas misses the ult, but he gets snared. Chezy's trying too hard to fight this in the wave, and he dies. The play in the top lane, Zerozon, not under really any pressure. He's kind of just laughing in the face of GXT, and he's saying, come back at me. He's standing on the clone. He wants to get ultied. Oh my god.
They're not giving me time to speak.
Alan.
They're not giving me time to speak.
Take it away. Take it away. I'm done. I need to save my energy for the rest of this.
Oh my god, man. They said, wait, T4D's doing the play-by-play? Alright, let's make sure he speaks that entire time. It has just been nothing but a bloodbath the past 3-4 minutes of this game. It's been amazing. Rakan going in again. Oh my god.
Dude, they're begging for your play-by-play. Out Charlie out dying once again. Zerozon versus Duyangu in the top lane. They both have ultis, but I don't know if Duyangu's able to win this one anymore. And Out Charlie out just looking like he's just on autopilot at this point. It's scary when you fall behind. You have to make sure you're actively thinking like what your limits are, because it's really easy to lose grasp of what you're. Oh, okay.
Oh,
and the haymaker coming out. Zerozon's still able to take him out under turret, and Duyangu goes down again. Heartbreak on the side of free agents. What we saw, they were able to pick up that first blood, and then the game fell apart so quickly. They don't want Ellen to speak, and man, I mean, there's so much to grasp. I mean, if you're free agents, how do you come back in this game?
yeah, they need to stop being so hasty, because when you're behind, every tool matters. Every ulti, every flash, every ignite, you know, even though ignite's a 3-minute cooldown. They have to make sure they make their plays together, because when you lack damage, you need more players to make sure you can kill the champion on the side of SunnysideJV. So that's why you need all the resources you can get, because you're going to get very small opportunities where they mess up.
Yeah, and we see Chezzy getting collapsed on again. He's desperate for those waves. B-Boy slow coming over, follows him over the wall, and the body slam flash, and followed up by the last breath from the Yasuo. Chezzy just desperate to get those waves. He lost his turret already, and yet not even that minion wave will SunnysideJV spare as they take down that 80 carry again. Duyangu, looking saying 3rd time's the charm. I'm gonna win this fight, but he's getting just beat up in that top lane. Whatever lead that Duyangu had in that early game is completely gone, and then some.
Yeah, this is just. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not able to speak up.
Diving again. I was looking for the headbutt pulverized combo. Zerozon's tanking. It doesn't matter who tanks, but maybe a little bit poor on the execution. Zerozon goes out, and Duyangu's able to live. Maybe the turn from Out Charlie out. The current call coming, looking for Duyangu, and Out Charlie out is further away from his turret. The force jump misses. GXT's here to follow up. But maybe he's overcommitting. B-Boy slows here now, and then the Chrono Shift has to come out, and he lives. But once again, Glizzy God's here, 3 levels up on that Rakan. He doesn't care. He has his summoners up. He's running down GXT. Chezzy's trying to turn back whatever damage he can, but he doesn't do any damage. He has a mana mute. The unstoppable force over the wall. Chezzy goes down. Out Charlie Ao is crying right now as he gets shot. Killed for the 6th time this game. All of a sudden, Jinlo's getting fought by Jared in the bot lane once again, and oh my god, SunnysideJV. We said this team was volatile, and when they're ahead, they don't let up, and they are not letting up, and they are blowing open this lead.
Alright, Bro, am I able to speak? Okay, I'm able to speak now, dude. There's for
They're
sure
barely
no
getting on the
action.
map. Free agents is barely getting on the map. You have a window. You have a
Yeah, okay,
window.
alright. This is just a disaster for free agents, man. I hope they do not get too discouraged. It looks like GXT still has an understanding of how he can impact this game. He's still farming a decent amount. Oh, okay.
Yangu going in again, and maybe out Charlie I was able to follow up. That cast is coming out, and Glizzy God's getting low. He's force shot, and the shutdown goes over to do Yanku. And I mean, for what it's worth, free agents is looking for plays, but it's not working out for them, right? I mean, you don't want to lose by your own accord. You do want to lose by your own accord. You want to force those plays, right? But it just has not been going right for them.
Yeah. Props to free agents because I feel like our Charlie Owl, though some of his roams have been suspect, he is constantly still looking. Same thing with Chezzy, and it looks pretty bad on paper. Like, oh, okay, free agent spot lane is 0 and 10, like, KEKW, like, a dumb joke like that. But what people don't understand is when you're in a series, to put it all on the line, that's a downside of putting it all out on the line, right? You sometimes look like a fool. And I mean, props to free agents right now, despite being so behind, they're still trying to fight. But it's just not going their way, like you said. The topside skirmish started because Charlie roamed top lane. Oh,
Turn call coming out, but Chezzy's full HP. He's looking for this turret. He said, I need whatever gold I can get, but maybe that's not the play to make. Chezzy doesn't even get the turret. Glizzy God gets another kill. The turret lives with 5 HP, and anyways.
nope.
That kill. And GXT is getting collapsed on Zero's on Unstoppable Force onto the Echo. Charlie was here to back up his jungler, but I don't know if it's enough. The quickness is coming out, and this front line from SunnysideJV is just face taking. Duyango's here to clean up, but I don't know if there's much to clean up. And okay, that's 2 kills on the side of SunnysideJV. Duyango might get away, but never mind. The casket has something to say. Jinlo can't clean this up. Zerazon is too tanky, but maybe he can. He gets the shutdown. B-Boy Slow might have overcommitted. Oh, he's getting chased down. Okay, the flash from Jinlo, and he might have been up more than he could chew. He goes down. Chezzy might be able to get this shutdown. Darren's just pushing the ball like Chezzy. You don't win that. Don't go in on a Glizzy God. Take the shutdowns. I mean, 6k gold lead, right?
More than a kill a minute.
They're getting shutdowns, but oh my god. My throat can't take it.
They're trying to shut down your voice, and as you take a break, there's another fight going on. Okay, Chezzy, he's over the wall. No shoutcasting from you needed this time. Oh my god, man, this is a great game from a viewer's perspective because of how chaotic it's been. But also for me personally, I feel like this game has been pretty good because free agents isn't backing down Jinlo to think, oh,
Darren is overcommitting once again, and he might be able to turn this last breath onto GXT. Parallel convergence comes out and doesn't hit, but GXT is able to pick up that kill, and I feel like that's been a recurring theme that you might want to look at if you're free agents. Darren, despite his team being up 22-9, 2-4-5 scoreline on that Yasuo, he's definitely bitten off a lot more than he can chew. He's been in very poor positions through and through this game, and you know, that's something you want to clean up for the future games in the series, and even in future series if you make it, right? Because the team comp is built around you, and you can't afford to be making those mistakes, especially against better teams.
Definitely.
And so, Duyangu, Glizzy God saying, I can 1v1 this solo laner, but Duyangu's running him down. I don't know, Glizzy God, you might be in trouble, and the fight comes out, but Zerozon comes over the one. Duyangu doesn't even get the face breaker up, and now Charlie was rooted up. Zerozon smacking him around. GXT's going in onto Glizzy God. Oh, B-Boy Slow just pops the recon GXT. He can't get out of this. He's getting body blocked by the Malphite, and the casket comes out from Gragas. Explosive cask. Just how many times have we seen it pick up kills? B-Boy Slow is bloodthirsty right now, and Darrett might be getting run down. He gets Nether Grasp, and Chezzy doesn't get the kill, but it does go over to Jinlo, and we do see they take down that bottom lane turret. But that is 2 of the carries, 2 of the strongest members on the side of free agents on the bottom side. And now SunnysideJV says, let's pull the trigger onto this Baron. I don't think there's going to be a response. I mean, we see 5 seconds on GXT. Malzahar isn't even reacting. He's just saying, I got to take this bottom lane turret. There's no way. SunnysideJV is for sure taking this for free.
Yeah, this has been nothing but a bloodbath, man. How's your throw holding up, man?
I'm dying. I'm in pain, but it's alright. I'm having a blast. This was such a fun game to cast. I don't get to cast. I don't know how I'm doing the play-by-play, but I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too.
Oh man, dude! Shout out to free agents, because usually when this happens, they kind of just roll over. But I feel like this game they're not rolling over, right? Like, I feel like
Oh,
they're kind of just taking the punches and giving some of their own back.
I mean, hey, you said it. Oh, now Charlie out. Oh, the B-boy slow one shot doesn't even need an explosive cast. Oh, Charlie out. We could say one thing about free agents: they are not KDA players. They are just. Maybe they should be a little bit more, but I mean, B-boy slow 11 kills onto that Gragas. She's just blowing up people. Whoever is on the same frame as him, as Chezzy almost gets snared out in that mid lane, but. As you said, I mean, they're not rolling over. They are just throwing back the punches. It's making it a blast, and it's giving them an ability to win, right? Jinlo isn't too far behind. GXT is also, I mean, he's behind because B-Boy Slow has 11 kills, right? But he's not. He's a considerable threat onto the backline, and so Diangu looking. Chezzy's kind of low though. Glizzy got getting off that fourth shot onto Diangu. We see GXT down in that dragon pit by B-Boy Slow. Chezzy's walking way too far up. He has to recall now. Out Charlie out going forward, and GXT's trying to steal the Inferno Soul, and it goes down. He's not able to, and now he doesn't get the best ultimate off, and oh, I mean, I feel like you have to go for that play, right?
Yeah, you definitely do. As a jungler, you understand that soul, denying the soul, it's like, okay, it gives us an extra 5 minutes of the game. That's what I always say, right? If you take a soul,
Right.
if you deny the soul, it's like, alright, we got 5 more minutes of the game, guys, and before it gets really bad for us.
Right, but now with that Infernal Soul, I feel like Sunnyside has a lot of their weaknesses closed up. I mean, Malphite's gonna be a one-shot threat himself. We already saw B-Boy Slow doing it multiple times, but now Malphite, you're gonna have to see that unstoppable force going in. They're taking down those mid lane inhibitors. They're taking down that bot lane, and I think the game might be coming to a close right here a little sooner than we would have expected. Out Charlie out, gets caught out, has to flash out. And he almost goes down to that bouncing grenade, and he has to reset. B-Boy Slow gets a watch on his GXT, can't even react. That unstoppable force flash is just a bloodbath. Oh my god, Out Charlie was trying to clean it up, but no one's alive to follow it up. Chezzy gets wind walled flash into the fountain. There it goes down, but he says, I want that ace, baby. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, SunnysideJV is able to. Oh, maybe not. They don't have a wave to flash away from IAW, but I mean, they have two waves, right? Timers, 10 seconds on GXT. I don't think he's even gonna get a time. And just as we see right here, SunnysideJV is able to blow open this series, win the game in 25 seconds. Glizzy, or 25 minutes. Glizzy God goes in the fountain, says, I don't care. 1-0 SunnysideJV.
My god.
I'm gonna get water. I'll be back. I need water. That was a banger.
My gosh. As my co-caster goes get some water, that poor man's voice, I wasn't even able to talk. I bet most of you forgot that I was on the broadcast because I was not doing the play-by-play, and it was basically a solo cast that entire time. Shout out to T4D to be able to take on that. What a game. Real quick, before we get into the next game, straw poll is coming out. For me personally, I don't know who the MVP would be. If you're going by KDA, it would probably be B-Boy Slow, but I think some of it might have to go for Zerozen. Despite playing a simple champion, he shut down Diangu, and yeah, although Diangu wasn't at fault for how he got behind, shout out to Zerozen for just making sure, like, alright, it's game, guys. We got their win condition. Now it's time for us to take over the game, and it's hard to believe that game is only 25 minutes.
Alright.
At least for me personally.
I just got back. Fill me in. What's
Alright.
the topic of conversation?
Alright, we're just gonna start out the straw poll. We're gonna send out the straw poll. I felt bad for you. I said you probably forgot that I was casting, because it was basically a solo cast with how the game was played. And for KTA, I think you could say that the MVP of game 1 could probably go to B-Boy Slow, but I would argue that Zerozen probably gets it because he did his job of shutting down Diango. What do you think?
I would agree. I think Diangu was definitely putting on the pressure early on. I mean, we saw that TP play got the first blood for free agents, but I mean, despite that, Zerazon was absorbing that pressure. He wasn't discouraged by that disadvantage he had early on, and even managed to pull back those solo kills. And I would agree. I mean, I think that those I think B-Boy Slow had a really good game. He managed to get a lot of picks onto any scragglers on the side of free agents, but
Hmm.
I think that Zerazon was able to, really set up for those plays where they were able to blow open the game, get those. It's about building advantages, right? And I feel
Hmm.
like Zerazon was able to have the impactful kills. He absorbed pressure, he shut down Duyangu, and he allowed SunnysideJV to blow open the game. And I would say I would agree with you that Zerazon was the MVP for that game.
Yeah, I'm just dang. That was a game, dude. And shout out for free agents too. Despite like, you could look at this game and be like, oh man, they just got stumped. But honestly, for me, they could have played a very calm game. They could have played patient, just let the game bleed out. And it's like, okay, it was the kills was 10-2, right? It was close, like on face value, but in reality, the game would have been doomed from the start just because of how hard Sunnyside JV scaled, right?
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I think if you're looking at the side of free agents, I mean, Duyangu had that one play where free agents had that window to start building their lead, right? And
Hmm.
unfortunately, it didn't work out. But Duyangu's obviously still going to be a threat. I hope he bounces back in game two, maybe throws out another like a Lawi game or something crazy. But
Hmm.
I think Jinlo also. I mean, he was holding his own in the mid lane. We saw the Yasuo wasn't able to have as much of an impact as we would have expected, considering the team comp was built around him. And I think Jinlo was having a lot of pressure in that game. I mean, we saw he got a lot of shutdowns. He was putting down pressure in the side lane. So I just think as a team, you need to look at maybe bot lane. You need to focus more on, if you're out Charlie out, more efficient roam timings, because as we said, I think he was focused too hard on making those roams work,
Hmm.
that he wasn't really focused on, should I be making this roam right now, right?
Yeah.
It's all about timings, and so I
Hmm.
just hope that they're able to get their game plan more together a lot sooner, because I think that they have a lot of potential. I think they're mechanically they played decently well this game, and that was not the reason that they were blown out. I think that Sunnyside JV just had a lot clearer of an idea of how they wanted to play the game.
Yeah, definitely. Man, dude, it was just the straight up heartburn. It's kind of hard to take all that game in. It was just going so fast, you know.
Right.
I
Telling me,
don't know.
man.
I don't know what I could compare that to. Have we ever had a game? I would argue that that was one of the most, like, what would you call that? Like, is
The
that the most kills?
scrappiest
Yeah, is that the
games.
scrappiest game? Is that the most kills we've ever had in a game? No, right? Because of how
I
short it lasted.
I
But
will say that when I think of these kind of games, I think back to what was that team? Yeah, I know you know the one I'm thinking of. It was the one with Sizz, Hostile Avocado,
something spicy?
Vision Tree, something spicy.
Something spicy did fight quite often,
They
yeah.
had that those banger games against, I can't even remember. I'm just like blanking on what team it was against.
Was it against
Clovis
Clovis
North, right?
North? Was
It
it?
was
Yeah,
that
is that what you're
series. They
talking
had
about? That
some
series?
ridiculous games in that series. I don't know if they were as blood filled, but they were definitely longer too, and they were pretty scrappy. So it's hard to say for sure. Like we need to start keeping count of like the bloodiest games in AOE, but this one definitely had to be highest in terms of like kills per minute, right?
Definitely. And then we see, yeah, Zerozen winning out on the vote. I think well deserved, no? Just like
Yeah.
despite playing the Malphite, I think was really well deserved, and it looks like we're gonna be starting the draft for game two. What do you think is gonna come out from free agents? How do you think they'll adjust their draft? I don't really like the set into tanks, but if Zerozen plays something like a squishy, I think the set will do a lot of damage.
Well, I guess I mean, on paper, it is a pretty good matchup to have, because set, you get that percentage health damage from the ultimate, and I think you're trading. I mean, you itemize the Bork, you itemize really well against tanks, but in this series, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think you can have do Yangu play in a matchup that if your team falls behind, you're never gonna get to pressure, right?
Mhm.
It's not like the Alawi where you can like, despite the rest of the map, you can 1v3. So I definitely, I think they have to take out the Malphite too. I just think Zerzon had way too much autonomy on that champion,
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
think it just shuts down a lot of what free agents wants to go for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it better than I could right now. I'm just at a loss for words. Looks like SunnysideJV is gonna take a little bit of a break, saying they're not R for Pro Jeff. I wonder if they're just talking shit. How would they adjust their game plan for game two? Um, we saw the Yone ban. I think you have to ban out Garrett in the mid lane. I would say to give, even though he wasn't that much of a factor, I think he's the most susceptible. Right? Would you agree?
I would agree. I
We
think
haven't
that
seen much from him.
he did show, as we mentioned, very clear weakness in that mid lane. I think he was very, he is getting caught out a lot, and he even like, even not that I like to base analysis of the game off of like KDAs, but we saw
Yeah.
that despite the huge kill discrepancy, he didn't have a very pleasing scoreline, and I just think
Mhm.
that that shows that he was not effectively like recognizing his strengths in the game, and he was playing pretty disrespectfully. So hopefully, I think that that's still like something that, I think that's something that free agents should keep an eye on, where this was a clear weakness in their team, and
Mhm.
I would like to see them pick on the mid lane a lot more.
As we're
I
talking
think,
about, look, the draft
yeah,
has started.
yeah, and they keep the Yone bans. The Malphite ban is the first one. I'm happy to see that. Of course, we see from Sunnyside JV, Darius Wukong, no surprise there. Curious to see what the third ban is. And the Gragas, I personally don't like it. I think that B-Boy Slow has had a lot more success on a lot of other champions. So I think when I think of this, I guess they're trying to shut down the whole Yasuo comp because they don't think that that Yasuo will be picked without the Yasuo. And so
That
Tristana Man coming out again, Jin first pick, a high prio on Jin, and yeah, what do you think about this draft so far?
I think that takes a decent amount of away from Glizzy God, 'cause I don't think we've seen him play any other AD carry besides the Jin, correct?
I think that would be a fair assumption. I think it's been
Yeah.
mostly mages spot lane.
So that forces Derek to pick an AD mid and forces them to pick the AD mid laner within the first three rotations. They forget about the Syndra and pick up the Syndra.
They didn't ban the Syndra. That, I think that's the first time we've seen Glizzy God get to play that this entire series.
I wonder if
Sorry,
free
not this
agents have
entire
a
series,
strat.
this entire
No, it's a
season.
season, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And that is, I don't know if that was an oversight or they just really thought, hey, like, maybe he hasn't played it for so long that he won't feel comfortable on it, but I am definitely scared for free agents now. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious it's going bot lane, and I think that Syndra is pretty scary for Jin. I mean, definitely outranges him with that scatter the weak, and I mean, I you better hope that Chezzy knows how to play against it, or else this is looking like a scary draft for the side of free agents.
Yeah, that's a thresh for Al Charlie Al. I haven't seen that in a very, very long time. That's that's very interesting for me personally to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see like a Morgana, especially you see the well, they didn't know the Hecarim was coming out, but if you think about B-Boy Slow's common picks, something like the Volibear or the Hecarim,
Hmm.
I think that Morgana just takes a lot of power out of that. And I think Syndra is also very obnoxious to play against if you don't have that Morgana Black Shield. So, and then we see the Ari. So even again, like Black Shield would have been huge. So the Thresh, I mean, it works.
Hmm.
Lantern is always going to be like the one of the best abilities in the game. But now we see the Azir into Ari matchup in the mid lane. So a lot of shakeups in this draft, right?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I don't see how free agents are gonna be able to adjust to Sunnyside JVs. I expected them to pick something more simple, but I think Thresh and Azir. Azir is one of the hardest mid laners in the game, and I think Thresh is one of the hardest supports in the game as well. So we'll see how well practiced they are on these picks because it will definitely decide a lot about this game.
Yeah, amen to that comment on Thresh being one of the hardest champs in the game. D1, and I'm still sitting at like a 20% win rate on that champion. So,
Hey
and
man.
we see we see the Pantheon coming out. Pantheon is nerfed on this current patch, so I'm
hmm
not sure how high prio that would be. But I mean, we know that SunnysideJV is gonna scrap it out, right? So I think Pantheon's something that is really sings to that strength in the early game, especially. And the Vladimir, however, quite peculiar. I mean, Diangu, but I mean, we know he wants to carry the game, so I'm assuming that's gonna be Vladimir top, unless we see something crazy like Azir jungle, which I highly doubt, but
I
should
wonder
be
what they
Vladimir.
are gonna pull out in the jungle, right?
Yeah, that definitely is huge question mark. Okay,
Oh,
how do you feel? I know you have some thoughts on Nocturne
I
being a jungle player, and I want to hear what you have to say about it.
so for Nocturne, for me personally, I think Nocturne's gonna start becoming one of the best junglers in the game currently. Because a lot of the junglers that are getting nerfed was what Nocturne was already able to keep up with their clear. He just wasn't able to keep up with their gank potential, right? But we see the Hackram getting nerfed. We see Graves getting nerfed. We even saw, I believe, I'm trying to think. There was another nerf. Karthus getting nerfed, right? Even though I think
Right.
Nocturne is a huge Karthus counter. When they start nerfing other things in the game, the old picks that were pretty strong get back, right? So I think Nocturne is one of those picks. His clear time is insane. Clears the entire jungle before 315. Hopefully it's taken advantage of this time. I know I talk about clear times all the time. I'm just obsessed with clear times, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's something as a jungler you should be obsessed with, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's a role where you have to maximize your timers. You have to make the most. You can't just sit around and think about what to do. You have to be on top of that. And pathing is just one of those things that it differentiates a good jungler from a great jungler. So hopefully we do see GXT able to maximize
hopefully
that
a
strength.
machete.
Yes,
Hunter's machete.
definitely. 'Cause I think the talisman is the recommended item.
Don't. Yes, it is, and it tilts me. Machete by far. Do not hit me with that talisman. It's like, but Nocturne needs It's the Olaf effect, man. It's the Olaf effect. You're not gonna need talisman in the jungle if you just start blue side. And then I think it'd be a perfect side for them to start out, right? Influencing the Syndra Pantheon lane. Ends up there at 315. With the Thresh and Jhin, I think it's a perfect path. We'll see what he decides to do. Also,
And might
Zero
I?
Sin got Jax. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead and finish up your
Yeah,
thought.
Zero Sin got Jax. That's pretty nuts. I'm a big fan of the Nocturne, but I still think Sunnyside JV's comp is better.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And I don't play too much top lane, but I do believe I think that this Vlad's gonna have a hard time, right?
Yeah, I believe he does. It's in the Jax, yeah.
Because I don't think he has the ability, especially post 6. Jax is gonna get this just the raw stats from his ultimate, where I don't think he's gonna be able to get killed by the Vladimir, and then he just powers up that passive from his ultimate. You know, he starts chunking out with even just short trades, and so I just think that it's kind of a scary matchup up there. But you look on the opposite side, I am terrified for Chezzy and Ao Charlie Ao. I think
Mm-hmm.
that Syndra Pantheon, they struggled in the last game. I feel like they died a lot, and if this is gonna get amplified with this crazy kill lane in the bot lane, I mean Pantheon Syndra, that I couldn't think of. There's very few level 2s that I think are scarier than that one. I mean, Pantheon's just gonna go in with that point and click stun into Scatter the Weak, and all of a sudden you're dead, right? So,
Yep.
all in all, who do you think has the stronger draft?
Yeah, I definitely think Sunnyside JV has a stronger draft. They don't have an answer for the Jax. They do have the Nocturne ulti, right, where they can instant engage, but I feel like again it's super hard to execute. Maybe if they had easier to execute things on the other side, so say it was like a Leona, say it was like a
Right.
Morgana, then that I would be like, okay, maybe free agents draft got this because then they do have an answer to Jax. Because how is Syndra gonna be able to ever respond to Nocturne with the Morgana shield? And imagine like if the Nocturne goes full lethality, lethal tempo, it just becomes a nightmare for Syndra. But because they have the Thresh, like Nocturne isn't gonna have follow up here. Besides maybe the Vlad.
Right. Yeah, and I just kind of am disappointed to see this from the side of
Mm.
free agents. I feel like after that first game, they kind of scrambled to think like, okay, we have to try something new, right? I think you look at that draft and you try to, maybe you can shift some pieces, right? Maybe like
Yeah.
Duyangu changes up his champion, but I think the rest of the draft wasn't too bad. But when I look at this draft in game 2, I just think, like, as you said, Nocturne, where does he really gank? I mean, Vladimir has virtually zero setup. Azir isn't really gonna want to set up. I mean, how are you gonna gank an Ari with an Azir? And then bot lane, the Thresh pick is kind of questionable because it's like you have things that just would have been clearly better into the Syndra, such as the Morgana. And it's just like there's very little setup in any lane. So I just feel like it's gonna be one of those Nocturne games where you full clear your jungle and then you're looking to press R, but you have nowhere to go. And it's just I'm scared because I think that free agents doesn't really have a clear way to win this game, whereas I feel like Sunnyside JV is just a lot stronger matched in pretty much every lane.
Yeah. We'll see how SunnysideJV plays this game out. We'll see if free agents can, turn the momentum of the game. Still 3 more games for free agents to take, and 2 more games for SunnysideJV to be able to take.
So I want to ask you, how are you feeling about that hot take with the 3-2 in favor of free
Okay,
agents?
look,
Are you
look, look,
still you
look,
still sticking to that
look,
one,
look,
or
look, look, man. I'm sticking with it. SunnysideJV got a little lucky. The Church of Malphite. I do coach them well, and they're followers. They understand the impact of the Church of Malphite, but we'll see what they can do without the Malphite. uh, that's the only word I'm preaching, man. I was preaching the Church of Carthus. I was accepting multiple people to the church, and now we've closed down. We've
we've
remodeled.
moved on?
We've
We've
remodeled.
moved on. Yeah.
We broke down the building. We just made it purely out of rocks in honor of Malphite. Um, we'll see how SunnysideJV can play without the Malphite. I do think that's an insane pick, and I think if that champion did not have the stigma it does, it would be very popular right now because that champion is
Which
pretty strong.
which Sigma would that be? Boring to play, easy, or
Boring to play, easy to play. Oh man, I'm trust me,
not
dude.
flashy enough, right?
Bro, I can play Gangplank, but Malphite's just too hard for me. It's like there's an issue there. There's an issue that you can quote unquote play Gangplank, but you can't play Malphite. That means Malphite is a very fundamental champion, and when there's champions like Yone, Yasuo, Gangplank, Camille, it's very hard to just kind of be okay with, hey, I'm gonna play a simpler champion because of how strong it is, right?
Definitely, definitely, and I mean, hopefully, we'll see. Have a big playoff bracket coming in for AOE, so maybe some teams are listening in and becoming followers for the Church of Malphite. But for now, was banned out going into game 2. Zero Zone, we'll see what he can see on a different champion in the Jax. As you said, pretty popular pick of his, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how this early game shapes up because game 1, free agents managed to pick up that first blood, and then just in the blink of an eye, right, completely fell apart for them. So hopefully they're able to have. I want to see a game where free agents is maybe just a little bit slower on the early game, because I feel like all their games, win or lose, have just been like, it just like
Falls
they just die.
apart.
They
Yeah,
just
it falls.
completely falls apart, like, not even 10 minutes into the game. So I just want to see them, get to their power drops. The Azir, let him get an item under his belt. Let Nocturne farm till 6, right?
Mhm.
Vladimir get his, I think, like, level 9 where he starts to spike. Maybe get an item under his belt too. Don't let this game just fall apart before you're even able to reach your champion's strong points.
It's like when I watch free agents, the experience I get is like I get the start of the roller coaster at Six Flags, Like, oh, okay, we're climbing up, we're climbing up. Oh my god, this drop is gonna be amazing. They get a kill earlier, like, oh my god, they finally got it together, right? And you're freaking out. You're just like, oh lord, I believed in them. You wanted to do the Kobe, I never doubted them. You're hyped. And then the roller coaster gets stuck. Not when your back is facing the, when you're climbing up the hill. Not there. It gets stuck when it's just flat even. So you can't do nothing but just look and just be like, all that could be, all that could be in this game, right?
Oh no, now Charlie out getting caught out, not in a good spot, and there's just so much follow-up CC. It's just as we talk about it, the game's already falling apart. First blood onto Glizzy God. They didn't ban the Syndra, and now they're gonna have to face it with an early recall, hopefully picking up like a Dark Seal or a Doran's Ring, and now SunnysideJV
Oh
flash
my
charm
God.
on to Chezzy. Flash W from Ion. Chezzy might be in trouble, but heals, does not hold on to that heal, and now all of a sudden, hey, maybe it doesn't look too bad. I mean, Chezzy's gonna have to recall, so this bot lane is gonna look really bad. But for what it's worth, I.A on that Pantheon did use both of his sums, so that is a lot of pressure loss. Derek used both of his sums. That is a lot of pressure loss onto Jinla too. And now GXT having a good response, good idea by him and Duyangu saying, hey, we just completely lost our bot lane. That's fine. Just sack it. I'll take his red buff, and I'm curious to see what is the path looking like for both junglers now.
If you're the Nocturne here, you want to get as many camps as quick as possible. He does opt out of the Raptors. For me personally, when I do a buff for buff, I don't like taking the extra camp. Mostly because what is the chances that you're actually going to get back there when that camp spawns to take it again, and then you're just giving the enemy jungler a free reset. You see B-Boy Slow taking the Raptors. Whenever I see that, I'm like, thank you, sir, because in 2 minutes from now, you're going to regret that you just gave me a free resetted Raptors, right?
We want to get that bonus XP, right, from the second set
Yeah.
of Raptors.
And a cheeky path he can do, we'll see if Nocturne decides to do it. He can take the blue buff, Gromp, Wolves, gank top lane, and go invade the Hecarim in his top side.
In the bot lane, Glizzy God getting exhausted. I'm not sure why he took exhaust in this matchup. I think Thresh would have been better. Actually, I could see it, right? They were thinking they're going to play from behind, and yeah, they do get a lot of damage onto Glizzy God, and we have to see he does not have the heal, so definitely having to take a lot of pressure, and Duyangu taking a big trade, losing that to Zerozon, not having that CS advantage that we saw last game. As we see, he's already building that turret, that wave into the turret, so Zerozon might be able to keep up in the CS, has those corrupting potions, and yeah, I mean, still relatively tame, but you have to feel it's that calm before the storm, right?
Yeah.
Games.
So it's a little worrying, man. I feel I feel like I'm not learning my lesson with the roller coaster. I keep getting on the Six Flags Employee League. Oh. Okay. Okay. There might be some movement in the coaster.
I did not. I'm not gonna lie. I did not realize my camera was locked onto the Yangu. So whatever happened, I am completely unaware of.
Pantheon got chunked out for a decent amount of his HP.
Alrighty, and yeah, as
But
we said, he did blow those summoners early on, so I mean, bot lane looking not too bad despite the death onto Ao Charlie Ao did have both those summoners, and now Jinlo, ooh, side sub, side charm, looking clean, but now Ao Charlie Ao's getting collapsed on onto B-Boy Slow. Chezzy is tunneled onto helping his carry, or his support, that he doesn't realize he's walking right into the Pantheon Syndra, and that's just poor awareness on the side of Chezzy. I mean, Ao Charlie Ao has the flash, he has everything to get out, and Chezzy just walking into range of the enemy bot lane, just getting up a free kill, and that's really, I'm not sure. I think he just has to, when you're playing AD carry, you have to do a better job of keeping track of your character and where you stand, right?
Yeah, you're the president.
Exactly.
You know, and everyone needs to yell, "Get down, Mr. President," when you're in trouble. But it seems to be a reoccurring theme where Ao Charlie Ao and Chezzy kind of see the game differently, right? Oh!
Jinlo doing a good job of using that weird interaction with the Hecarim charge and the Azir shuffle. And now Duyangu's in trouble. I mean, he's training that huge wave, uses the pool. And now the wave's under the turret. Jinlo's getting attacked again. I mean, oh, I already can tell the game's just gonna speed up. I'm gonna not have a voice by the end of the game.
Yep, drink all the water you can, man. Drink all the water you can.
Ready for it. But I mean, we see it now. I mean, 2 kills already, an advantage of SunnysideJV, about 1,000 gold lead. I mean, as you said, bot lane, Chezzy and Ao Charlie Ao just being on different pages at all times, and it shows when they give up questionable deaths such as that one. Now Jinlo maybe a little bit disrespecting. But alright, the game's looking like it's gonna slow down. I'm just thinking, what's the first play that you're looking for free agents to make if you want to pull this game back and
Play around bot side. I know you think bot side is weak side, but you cannot successfully gank a Vladimir. So if I'm GXT in this game, this happens to me in solo queue a bit too. When you see a Kassadin or a Vlad, you know, something along those lines, you almost think to yourself, good luck, sir. Because if you do not have Ignite, there is nothing I can do for you, especially with a champion like Nocturne. The only champions that can necessarily do something for you is like maybe a Hecarim and a Lee Sin, maybe Kha'Zix in some situations, level 6, but there's a lot of champions that can't really do much for you, so hopefully we see. Oh,
Yangu taking a bad trade. He's greeting for that minion wave, but he is able to pull away. He has to use that flash, and okay, now that's a window where Zerozon may be able to push that lead. Zerozon is ahead in CS, and GXT, I was gonna say he did barely hit level 5 off of the Wolves with only his red buff coming up, but he was able to catch a big wave, and
Oh
Yangu goes
my.
down in the top lane. Oh, well, I'm talking about Raptors. I'm not watching. I'm watching him clear Raptors while Zerozon's just taking him down. And now in the bot lane, Chezzy has to heal. Exhaust coming out. They might be able to turn this, but that Pantheon does a lot of damage, and now Chezzy has to expend both of his summoners and the exhaust from Out Charlie Owl. And oh man, the game's blown open. I am so sorry I missed that top lane kill. I was just watching. And a flash in from Out Charlie Out into the root. The ultimate coming up from the Nocturne. You said you wanted to see it. Hecarim's on the bot side. Pantheon has the flash. He's baiting this out. Garrett's there. GXT might have been off a little bit more than he could chew. Zerozon's TPing in. Not necessary. They might be able to run down Out Charlie Out. He did just use that flash. They might be looking under the turret. Chezzy doesn't have those summoners. Jinlo is here. But he's level 5. He's level 5. He's doomed. Zerozon jumps in. Jinlo has the flash. He shuffles out. Hook onto the Ahri. Maybe he's dead. Derek bit off more than he could chew. Charlie Hour keeps walking forward. For some reason, Derek gets away. He flashes out. Hecarim ease onto the minions. Chezzy's trying to fight. Zerozon's getting greedy. He has the ulti. Jinlo just hit level 6. IO has to flash out. What a messy dive from both sides. Oh my god.
Alright, they're giving you a little more time to breathe than usual, but what a start. It is the calm before the storm, as you've been saying non-stop. Oh man, they did use a lot of resources though. We'll see how GXT with the next ultimate, how he'll be able to punish, what he'll decide, and I think a lot of the game for free agents decides on that.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, a lot of resources used, but we'll see if free agents can capitalize on that. I mean, good play from Owl Charlie Owl, flash hook into the root from Chezzy. Nocturne gets that kill, maybe overcommitted. I think he didn't know that Hecarim was on that dragon, and now chunked out Yanggu is. But yeah, as you mentioned, they need to capitalize on that. GXT overcommitted. He said, I'm feeling the double kill, baby. And now Owl Charlie Owl's getting on.
Oh
He's
my
level
god.
4. He might be getting messed up, but Zerozon doesn't have the ultimate yet. But it doesn't matter. He's smacking him up. Chezzy doesn't do damage. He has to reload his bullets. And now Zerozon, I think he's waiting for that counter-strike. Chezzy does not want to overcommit, or he might die. Zerozon's looking at the bush. He's going to jump on the minion and flash. And Chezzy's greedy Jin. 80 carry players just want the waves. He's so desperate to get the minions. Doesn't respect Zerozon walking in that bush. And now IO running into GXT. GXT spell shielding a little early. Pantheon E coming out and nothing to be had there. But once again, bot lane from free agents. They're just not taking the time to think about what they can do, right? And now Zerozon is getting a free bot lane double kill, and oh man, this game once again, the calm before the storm. Jinlo's face checking. Oh, Out Charlie Owl's face checking too. He's getting jumped on again. Nocturne ulti coming out. Oh, and the pause in the middle of a fight. What is going on?
Do you have chat open? Who paused?
It is IO that paused.
Oh?
And so I guess Nocturne presses R and they'd say phone call time.
Hold up. I can't even move my screen when it's a pause. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you cannot move the screen. I'm assuming yours left off on bot side where
Yep.
Zero Zone jumped onto out
Yep.
Charlie R.
Alright, so we don't
But-
show anything that's going on in the game. We gotta switch the scene. Your voice is not gonna be active no longer after this, and I think this is the first time we've ever seen this in AOE where they send bot side into the top side for the Herald, by the way.
Yeah, and
I've
that's
never
something.
seen a team do that.
Yeah, that's a very common
Yeah.
macro play that we see in higher levels. But
Mm.
go ahead and elaborate on that. And what the significance of that?
Yeah, drink some water, man. You deserve it. Your voices. I know we keep talking about it, but it's just there's been so much action. This game is going a little slower than the last, but this is how it also started, and it just exploded. And free agents couldn't even contain anything that SunnysideJV was able to do. We see roughly about a kill a minute. They would need a kill every probably minute and 15 seconds, which is crazy considering laning phase doesn't start until 2 minutes.
Yeah. You say it went a little slower than the last game, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean much when we saw that bloodbath that was game 1. I mean, as we can see right now, there's 2 fights going on. I don't even think the directed camera is on the most significant fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this unpause to come out so I can zoom my camera right back up to see what is going on with
Likewise.
that paranoia going off from the Nocturne. But
Mhm.
I mean, what 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 can free agents do to pull this game back? Because it's again they're on the back foot again, and it's not looking too good, right? So what realistically can they do to bring this game to an even state?
So first they have to stop the bleeding by making sure that SunnysideJV cannot get this Herald, but the second play is, I think for not only this game but series is going forward, is a lot of what Duyangu plays is not champions that are easy to gank for his own jungler, the Alawi. Very difficult for him to get the gank off. Maybe the Wukong and Darius, but that's permaban. And then we've seen him play Kale, we've seen him play Renekton. Renekton's pretty easy to gank, but it has been permaban this series, and we also see the Vladimir is what he picks as well. But when he picks something that you cannot easily gank, GXT has to path towards the bot side. You know, maybe he's thinking to himself, oh, they're not doing well, they have to just always play weak side. No, sometimes you can help out your weak side. You can help them out, and then bait the enemy team, go to your weak side, bait the enemy team to go to your weak side, make them fall for the trap, and then as soon as they start investing resources into the bot side, you start going top side, because you know it's going to be just free roam for you up there, you know?
It's like a game of chicken
Mhm.
where you start pulling resources to one side, and then as soon as the other team starts responding, you bounce back onto the other side, right?
Yeah, but we have
Keep
yet
them
to see
on their
that.
toes.
Yeah, GXC almost refuses to show his face in the bot lane. We see in the mid lane 10 CS down for Jinlo. We see equal CS for the Jax and Vladimir. It looks like equal CS all down the board, only a 3k gold disadvantage. Why are you
Yeah,
giggling? Did they say something in
that
chat?
that equals CS in the top lane with Vlad and Jax is with the little asterisk on it, right? Because Jax has been, I mean, he has that 400 gold shutdown on him for a reason. 4
Yeah.
kills to his name. Zerazon not slowing down. Oh, almost, it's like a 1500 gold lead for him there. And so, like you said, GXT, I mean, he hasn't really shown his face in the bot side. Maybe, like we said, first game, it's like, it screams weak side, right?
Mhm.
But this game around, I mean, he did have that ulti, and that was that play where I was just like, oh man, this is it. This is the part where free agents is able to build a lead, right?
Yeah.
They made a really good play. But GXT overcommits, Hecarim is on that dragon, finishes the dragon, and then Garrett is already on the rotation.
Mhm.
Garrett's already there, and all of a sudden it just goes down the drain, right? Because they are a lot of kills going back in the opposite direction. Jinlo is roams down, isn't even level 6 yet.
Yep.
It was a, oh man, yeah, that was a fiasco, and now that is primarily where the disadvantage comes from on the
Mhm.
side of free agents. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, GXT needs to get a little bit more creative with his pathing. I think he needs to do a better job of recognizing
Oh.
where the strength is, and unpause is coming through. I'm panning over to the Rift Herald. It's a 3v4. Paranoia comes out. GXT is not in a favorable position, and he gets popped. Hecarim onslaught of shadows going in. Jinlo is able to push him away. Duyangu's getting run down by Derek. Doesn't have that pull anymore. Might go under the turret. Does not decide to dive. And you said they want to deny that Rift Herald. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to. It was a 4v3. Junglers down. And now SunnysideJV is able to pick up that Rift with only 10 minutes on the clock. So they're getting a really effective use out of it, presumably, if they can get some plates out of it. And we'll see what their next play is.
Yeah, this is looking like a very, very rough game for the side of free agents. Oh my, and they're just 3-man heralding mid?
Which I think is the right play to make.
Oh, wow.
Oversteps, no respect. This happens so many times where Charlie Out just oversteps. He doesn't recognize that. Yo, I'm level 5. And he just disrespects, walks up to the wave every time and eats CC and dies for it. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a tilt thing or if it's just like maybe he's focused on something else, but it's something that just loses your team a lot of tempo. It offsets your timers a lot. It just gives free gold over. And SunnysideJV, I feel like maybe a little too soon on that dragon or on that Rift Herald. I think they could have saved it, gotten some plates for the and applied pressure with the dragon.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way, I like the idea because now Charlie Owl doesn't decide to face check that bush, thankfully.
You
But
say this, right? But I don't think I don't think free agents can contest the dragon whatsoever.
yeah, you're not wrong in that. You're not wrong in that. And yeah, I mean, I still like the idea because I think blowing open that mid lane, getting the Ahri out of that lane, she's able to get a lot of successful roams, and Azir is not able to follow up on that. So Zerozon looking to jump on a Jinlo. Jinlo walks through that tri-brush, has to use his ultimate right before Dragon. I mean, I hope they're not looking to contest free agents. Scatter the weak on out. Charlie out. Exhaust comes out, but it doesn't matter. There's 3 other targets. B-Boy Slow's chasing down Chezzy. Chezzy has to heal. Garrett does follow Curtain Call coming out, but those targets aren't very low, and we see Curtain Call. Why does the camera pointed at him instead of the targets it's hitting? Doesn't matter. Zerozone's trying to 2v1 onto that red buff. Nocturne really wants it. Zerozone's going in. He doesn't care. GXT overcommitting. He smites the Jax, and Duyangu shut down onto Jax. Chezzy's able to get another shutdown. Duyangu goes down, but that's actually pretty huge. That is 2 shutdowns going over to the Jhin, and Nocturne's looking to ulti in. He's trying to get the Cloud Dragon, isn't able to steal it, and then he goes down to Glizzy. Got Chezzy, oversteps. You don't need to follow. Your jungler's gonna die. Oh, but the Flash Lantern! Chezzy stays alive. He gets the Glizzy God gets the kill over the wall. Now Jinlo. Jinlo's trying to kill Glizzy God. Glizzy God does have that flash, so he's perfectly safe. And once again, I feel like Chezzy wants to help, but that's not your job, man. You're the AD carry. He oversteps, and Charlie heads up play, throwing the Flash Lantern. That little bit of shielding keeps Chezzy alive for just a little bit longer, but good job by Glizzy God sniping that kill over the wall, and better yet, B-Boy Slow able to secure that dragon, which keeps that dragon win condition alive for SunnysideJV. And once again, I feel like 1 step forward and 2 steps back for free agency.
This is insane for me. This is, oh man. Chezzy, like that flash was actually really well played despite it being so scary. This Hecarim that's extremely fed just running towards you, able to just avoid him. Played that team fight really well, but for free agents to win this game, Chezzy's got to play a lot of team fights like that.
Oh yeah, and that's not a position you want to be in. Where, all right, Chezzy, you gotta pull the Ahri, the Hecarim. You gotta perfectly like manage your movement. And like I said, he played the beginning of that fight really well. I just think that he often finds himself in this position where it's like, oh, like my teammate's going for a play, I need to back him up, but that's not your job, man. Like you gotta play. You're Mr. President. We talked about it. You're Mr. President. You gotta play for yourself. And the bright spot in a very dark game for free agents overall.
Oh my!
3 shutdowns and top lane once again. Oh, at least he's able to get that trade kill. Zerozon going on under that turret and trading kills. I mean, Duyangu and Eric takes down Charlie and Chezzy. I don't know how this happens. How does this happen every time they try to commit onto Derek? And IO says, I don't care. I'm coming to back up my mid laner. I mean, Charlie went down just to the Ahri, and again, just as we talk about, I mean, a net positive play for top lane, because when you're behind, trading kill for kill is pretty good, but once again, the bot lane of free agents isn't able to respect the state of the game and gives up another 2 kills for seemingly no reason, right?
This is. It's still pretty bad for the Vladimir because he did lose the wave and then the wave bounces back into Jax, so it's still gonna be an X.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
And
god!
Jinlo. That is a Glizzy God classic, camping the bush on the Syndra, stacking up those balls and just hitting a Scatter the Weak. Jinlo just wants the wave.
That
His
was
first death of the game. All in all, I mean, did the game freeze for you?
nope.
The game is frozen for me.
Like
I think I'm frozen now.
okay.
Technical difficulties on my side.
Oh my god, Syndra hitting him with the damn. That was actually not that much damage just for how fat Syndra is.
I didn't see. My game was frozen right now. I had to unfreeze it, but it looks like no one died, so that's what matters, right? Right now, SunnysideJV looking for the rotation play on a Chezzy. Chezzy oversteps, and now he's walking the wrong way. You're walking right into the Pantheon, and the TP coming out from Zero Zone. Yanku's trying to run out there with that phase rush, but he might just get run down by this Hecarim. Zero Zone says, "Give me that kill, baby. I didn't TP for nothing." And all of a sudden, they're pinging that Rift Herald, maybe going for that top turret. I mean, the entire map is theirs right now, and Jinlo casually farming 2 levels below the enemy bot laner. Not a good sign, but hey man, 7k gold deficit for free agents. Zero's just walking through turret, doesn't matter. He's just trying to crash that wave, and right now, I mean, second Rift Herald isn't the most impactful objective in the game, but when you're this far ahead, it's almost like you might be able to just end the game with that Rift Herald. But Zero Zone takes that top lane turret. That gold lead balloons to 8k now, and I don't know. Jinlo not looking too good. You pan over to that bottom lane. Glizzy God's doing his special again. He's dropping those spears in the bush, waiting for someone. And oh no. Jinlo's in a bad spot, but Glizzy God says, "Yo, I'll let you live this time." Dragon's coming up right now. We'll see what free agents decides to do. I don't think they're in a position to contest, but we'll see. Speak to me, Alan.
Dude, I'm just.
Charlie,
okay.
getting caught out again, but we don't need to talk about that one. I mean, that's 7 deaths right now. You have to think free agents definitely doesn't contest this one now, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is just a shame.
Oh, and Derek going in onto GXT, misses the charm, and GXT is just thanking the Church of Malphite right now, saying thank you for letting me live another day. And the dragon goes over to Hecarim. But I mean, what are we thinking? I know I asked you this earlier. How does free agency come back into this game? But now I think the answer changes a little bit more because the gold lead just about doubles.
Yeah, you have to
What do
put
they do?
everything onto Jin. This is Jin's games to carry, and
I don't think coming out. Glizzy God's against the wall, and I mean, okay, and now the paranoid coming out, but he's not in range, and
yeah,
okay, he's actually looking onto the Pantheon. IO is in a bad position. He has that flash, but he's not. He's CC chained, and nice kill. But all the while, Zero Zone is getting that turret in the bot lane. So I mean, you do get a kill. He said it's Jin's game to carry, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what he can do.
Something else I wanted to mention is he could have just paranoid during the Jin ulti, and it would have been so sad for Syndra trying to dodge in the dark. You ever tried dodging something in the dark? It's damn near impossible. I am so sad that GXT did not see that play. That is one of my favorite plays back in the day when me and QST used to play in the Oakland tournaments. What he would do is he'd play Syndra or Lux in the mid lane, and I would play Doctor, and essentially before we would look for a pick onto objective, as Charlie might get picked out himself. Oh no.
Rush it off. Chezzy, that's the more important target. Has the flash, the Pantheon ult thing coming out. Charlie is, I'm seeing a reoccurring trend here where he's getting caught out, doesn't recognize the state of the game, greeting for wards, and that's his 8th death. More importantly, Chezzy's flash does go down, and now they're diving. Zero's gets the charm onto Chezzy. Chezzy doesn't have a flash. Jinlo's also in a bad spot. Doesn't matter if the Z turret's up because they don't care. SunnysideJV is 8,000 gold ahead, and they have no signs of stopping. And now they dropped that Rift Herald we talked about earlier, and it's not even gonna take a charge onto this turret. So we'll see how much they can get. I mean, maybe mid inhibit isn't the worst thing to lose if you're free agents, right?
Yeah, I mean, ah man, I would be scared to lose my mid inhib at this point because they can just end the game. They can tower. I would not be surprised if they could tower dive our Nexus.
Yeah. Yeah. GXT is looking for
Oh.
a plan to Glizzy. That flash is on.
Oh!
IAW goes over the wall, and the Scatter of the Week comes out. GXT paranoia is onto the wrong person. You feel like IAW is able to pick up the kill. Diego flashes after Glizzy God gets that kill onto the Syndra. So shutdown going over to Duyangu. You think of you said Jin wants to get the kills, but I don't think that Free Agents is complaining that they're able to get that 2-for-1 shutdown onto Vladimir. So I mean, a sign of life. You're gonna need a couple more of those, but not too bad for them. Buy themselves a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a broken record almost, man. We talk about signs of life. We talk about like they got a little bit of a pulse, and then the game finishes. And you were
And then
mentioning,
next fight it's over. Right?
yeah, exactly. And then you were mentioning like a game can just end off of that. We found many of games like that in our games, where we were playing for GZG, and we kind of realized, hey guys, we're really strong, right? Yep. Can we just tower dive this? Yep. And then the game finishes because we decide, we finally decide to make a decision that will just end the game, right? Wait, you can do that when you're 8k gold ahead.
Exactly. So I'm trying to be optimistic for free agents and saying, hey, maybe mid and hip we get a little bit more in gold, right? Which actually it didn't end up going down, but as you mentioned, I mean that mid inhib can just become like, all right, we just lose the game because they just dive us under our turrets, and we see Duyangu's Zero Zone. I mean, Duyangu took a pretty nice trade onto Zero Zone, but I think Zero Zone might be able to win when he pops that ultimate. We'll have to see that one. As D-Boy Slow's taking this entire top side of the camp, we see the pings coming out into the top lane. GXT is walking through his jungle.
Oh,
That's not
no.
your jungle, though, buddy. Glizzy God gets the Scatter of the Week. GXT, you're dying for wolves, brother. And the okay, but the collapse onto the bot lane. Duyangu, the hook from Out Charlie Ow, the flay, the box coming out, another shutdown onto Duyangu. And all of a sudden, I mean, jungler for top laner, so SunnysideJV is still looking to pressure this Baron, but I actually think that this might be the window for free agents to come back into this game. You don't have your jungler, but the enemy top laner is down for another 25 seconds. He does have TP, but I don't think you want to give up. I mean, Chezzy's coming out with the curtain call, but the rest of the team doesn't look like they want to contest the hooks into IAW. Darius just flashing out. Chezzy, you're holding on to that curtain call for way too long. Out Charlie Ow is getting W'd on by Pantheon. And just like that, I mean, they delayed the Baron, but not for too long. They delay it, and another side note, Zero Zone is up in time to pick that up. He TPs into the bot lane. He says, I'm going to start this Inferno Dragon. I'm not going to give him time to take this under our noses while we recall, and all of a sudden SunnysideJV just out macroing, getting that Baron, getting the kills. Glizzy got TPing, might get the pick onto GXT, but Baron and Inferno Soul. So just like that, Sunnyside's chances of winning this game just got a lot higher, and free agents are just been like backs against the wall at this point.
I don't know what to say at this point, man. It is. It's almost like the same reoccurring thing for free agents. Oh man.
Hook, but not onto the target you really want it onto.
What I'm worried about is free agents can still win this game. Free agents can still win this game, but what I'm worried about is when SunnysideJV presses tab real quick and realizes how far they're ahead, right? They got to
like realize it.
Yeah, it's almost like they're just like, alright guys, let's play calm and collected, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. Or you can just tower dive through that Azir tower.
Yeah, and I'm just I feel like free agents pulls the triggers at all the wrong times. I think that Baron play would have been one where you just like, alright guys, we just gotta take this for like before Jax comes up and TPs.
Yeah.
Because now you lose the Baron.
Oh!
Jinlo looking for the stream, a shovel onto 3, and the Nocturne ulti coming out. Jinlo goes down, but he trades Darret. And now the disc goes down. Out Charlie out. It may have not been enough as Duyangu's chasing onto Glizzy God, gets the kill, and now Duyangu's under the backline. IAW is looking a little low. Ignite onto him. The snare misses. Duyangu does not have the pull, but he has the Zonias and GXT. Zerozon misses the flash counter strike. And now Duyangu's counting out. B-Boy Slow's taking out the back line. And amazing engage by Azir, but it doesn't look like enough as now GXT is the last one to go on. Like, he's the last one alive on the side of free agents, and now Zerazon and B-Boy Slow are able to take these Baron-empowered minions. They're able to take this in him. They're pinging onto that bot lane turret. They're knowing, hey, we can't end the game, but we can sure as hell get a lot of gold out of this, a lot of pressure. So I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot closer than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, this is really scary for the side of SunnysideJV. The Elder Drag is spawning in 3 minutes. Baron is spawning in 3 minutes. I don't know what free agents can do before then. They need one more teamfight win before then. And I think they should be able to secure one of those objectives, preferably the Elder, right? If free agents gets that Elder, I think it's game for SunnysideJV.
Oh man. And that's, yeah, it's exactly that point where you're saying, hey guys, free agents, like, you're just saying, like, alright, it's looking like an Elder win condition, right? It's like, that's the only way. I mean, that fight was really close, but you have to think what they expended, how ideal that start was. I mean, Genlo, perfect Shurima shuffle onto 3 carries, and even then only got the trade onto Darret. And I mean, Chezzy, for getting those 3 shutdowns, I feel like he's just not had an impact on this game whatsoever past those kills. And I mean, but Duyangu and Jinlo having huge impact on these fights, especially Duyangu. Huge dive onto the backline, and now SunnysideJV setting up that split push into the bot lane. The pings coming out from free agents. They're looking like they're gonna look for a play onto Zerazon. Doesn't have the TP, doesn't have the flash, and now the Nocturne ulti, but he might be a little too far ahead. Has to flash out. Miscommunication. You have the Lantern, but the hook from AoCharlieAo. Great hook. But even then, it's a 1-for-1. SunnysideJV looking for the plan of the top side. They have a wave. And I mean, I feel like that play just kind of exemplifies what the issues for free agents is. I mean, Nocturne paranoia, super deep in, flashes out when the Lantern comes out, and that just like personifies the struggles for this team. Hook, AoCharlieAo follows up. Duyangu wants to go up, but he gets hit by the Scatter of the Weak though. The Hecarim charges into the backline. Jillo doesn't even get to get any damage off, and just like that, AoCharlieAo goes down. Duyangu goes down, barely gets the ulti off. He might be able to heal a little bit. He flashes out, but to no avail. Doesn't get the heal. Double kill for B-Boy Slow. And just as we said, SunnysideJV realizing just how strong they are, they just brute force the game, and they're looking to take a 2-0 lead. GXT doesn't have much say. He eats a Scatter of the Weak. Infernal Soul says, no, not today, sir. Glizzy God getting the Syndra. You have to think what adaptations free agents can have to flip over this game, because it's 2-0 in favor of SSJV right now.
I I have no words. I do think free agents is not showing anything new, right? But oh, are we still live? Okay, we're still live, right? T40, you here with me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
listening.
okay. Hold up. No, sorry. The computer went a little haywire on me. I had to look around, make sure everything's good. But although free agents doesn't look like they're bringing anything new, I do like the Vladimir pick. I feel like they just got way too behind, way too early. I think SunnysideJV is playing a lot better than they did during the regular season. A lot more consistent than they were in the regular season. I don't know how you feel, but
I would say they're definitely playing a lot more patient. They're not forcing these plays. They're definitely, like we said, we could see them pushing their lead a little bit more, but it's still not a bad thing, right? That they're taking their time.
Yeah.
Because they have that advantage. They have that luxury. So
that was an insane game. You could see like it's just a dominant performance from SunnysideJV, almost saying like we just want to go to the next series as soon as possible and just show people that we're not a joke. And you kind of see that they always have the chip on their shoulder, right? And towards the end of that team fight, you said that that's the issues that free agents had, is when Nocturne ultied in, had the Thresh Lantern, and then flashed out. You can see how there isn't the best communication or almost trust, right? And that fight alone showed how behind and how sad the game state was for free agents. When you Nocturne ulti in, you're supposed to be the one in control, but it almost looks like the Jax was like, "Wait a second, what you doing here, buddy?"
It was
This,
like, get out of
yeah,
here.
he goes, "This is my comfort zone. This isn't your comfort zone." And Nocturne was just straight up confused. He said
Alright,
that,
well,
that should not be happening.
I'm gonna have to take a break, get more
Uh
water,
huh.
use the restroom. I'll be right back. This is your time to shine. Take
Yeah.
the wheel analysis. Let the people know
All right.
what you're expecting from Game 3's draft.
All right. Game three
I'll
strat.
be right back.
It almost seems like SunnysideJV is having no problem going onto very standard team comps and executing them very well, just being all on the same page. I want to see if free agents can come back. I do think they still can. I mean, when you have one game left, you have nothing to lose, so just play with all your heart, right? That's how I would assume. We'll see if free agents are able to play as such, or if they struggle like they've been struggling as of recent. It's so sad. Like, I use the roller coaster analogy, right? Where you're about to get to the job, man. Free agents is about to win the game. You can feel it, and then something just goes wrong, and you're just stuck there, just watching the game go out of control. But each and every time, you can see how they're so close. That's why I feel like you can't count the team out. For me personally, I may just have bias. People may just be like, "You're crazy," but for me personally, even from an analytical standpoint, at least to me, I think I'm thinking from an analytical standpoint. I think it's always pretty close. Right? Like the early games are always pretty close. There's just something that happens in the mid game that just makes the game go out of control and it makes it extremely difficult for free agents to come back into the game. So we're going to be doing MVP for the people who are in the chat wondering who the MVP is. I want to say for me personally, I think Derrit had an MVP performance. That man played out of his mind, just fearlessly, just consistently flashing in, just making sure the job gets done. And that job was to make sure that they can get a lead and they can snowball off the RE charm. He's providing an amazing amount of CC, constantly going onto the Jhin, making Chezzy constantly have to think about him. And if he didn't think about him, he was going to be shut down. So I definitely think the MVP for me personally would go to Derrit. So gonna put that out, and they might just instantly start the pro draft. For the people who are in the chat, make sure you do vote as fast as possible. We got Zeros in redeeming a posture check. Posture check. All right, we'll sit up a little. Try sitting up even more. We got them redeeming hydrates. Focus on your game, man. How about that? How about instead of claiming hydrates, you focus on the game?
All right, go ahead and bring me back into this one. What is the topic of conversation?
We're
How are
talking
we
about
feeling about the
MVP.
MVP?
Yeah, we're talking about the MVP. Who do you feel personally? I don't want to tell you who I chose, but I want to hear your opinion of who you think the MVP of this game is.
I think that one would have to go to. I think B-Boy Slow. I
Okay,
think
okay.
everyone played pretty well. I think he was that one consistent threat to where we saw like, okay, this team, like this person, like I think Derek was pretty high up there because he had a lot of pressure. But I think that B-Boy Slow was the one person who wasn't really getting caught out. He was always the one where it was like, okay, like this team fight, like it almost looks bad, and then Hecarim is just diving onto the back line. And maybe he did overcommit a little bit, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that he had that consistent pressure in these fights, and as a result, I think he deserves the vote.
Yes, I did Derek.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think Derek played out of his mind this game. I think every RE charm was super clutch. Didn't necessarily feel like he was faltering at all, right? Like sometimes he went over aggressive, but he made sure that the only win condition free agents had that game, which was Chezzy, in my opinion. I think it was thinking the game was going too out of control for the win condition to be Duyangu. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and he just made sure that every fight he was on to Chezzy. So that's why I think Chezzy deserves it. Or Chezzy deserves it. Derek deserves it.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I could see the argument, but either way, pretty impressive from all players on the side of Sunnyside JV. And heading into this third game, what I mean, we said it at the beginning of the broadcast. You have to leave it all out on the table. So
Mm.
what do you expect from the side of free agencies? Like if you're You're down 2 wins to none. How do you bring this game back?
Yeah, Matt. I think you just play without fear. You play something aggressive early and then just play without fear. Do not go for a scaling. The last thing you want is going for scaling and then playing something aggressive and you guys not playing discipline and just watching the game bleed out before you can do anything. So hopefully we see something really aggressive. I would love to see Diangu. What could Diangu go? Something I don't know if he plays maybe something like a Kled. Like a Kled for him would be insane for him to pull out the series. Uh,
Here's the
uh
thing. I feel like Duyangu on the Vladimir was terrifying for me. I
mhm.
think he was the only reason that they were able to actually bring these fights close, right?
Yeah,
And so ideally you would want him to be like, all right, guys, like let's just like stabilize the game. Let's just keep it like not. We don't have to even keep it like even or get ahead. Like we just have to not like let the game blow open at the start.
mhm.
And that's just something that we haven't seen free agents able to do like throughout the series and throughout the season, where I feel like the game just kind of swings in one favor or the other very quickly. And I
Yeah,
think that you really like it's all I still think that they should put something on like Diangu on something super scaling like the Vladimir,
mhm.
and just like have maybe winning lanes on the rest of the map,
Yeah,
because it's just like you need to. The prime issue here is you're just like giving a lot of kills up and losing the game early on, right?
yeah.
It doesn't matter what champions you're playing, right? If you're scaling, it's like you're gonna get blown out either way. So I would prefer that they at least have their strongest member on something that could at least take over the game almost single-handedly in the late game.
I don't know if I talked about this analogy on the broadcast, but do you know what like chess elo calculators are? Do you know
Not
what's are you familiar? So essentially, what it
vaguely,
is for every 100 elo in chess, in order for you to have a good chance of winning, you have to be a piece ahead. So pawn,
right?
right? A point ahead. So pawn for every 100 elo, right? So I'm like 800 elo. So if I faced someone, am I 800 elo? I think I'm 700. I think I'm 700 elo. I'm 700 elo. So if I face someone double my elo, right? I'd have to be 7 pawns ahead. And what that means to me, right? How I translate this to League is play aggressive early because with the lead, anyone can play the game sometimes. You know, like we saw in Worlds when we saw not SOFM, sorry, Bin from Sunning get Shane level 1, right? At that
Right.
point in the game, we could probably put Bacon Yumi Hostile Avocado up there. I'm pretty sure that's game. You know, like we could have put him on the world stage, and that probably would have been game with the 3 kill lead with the
They'll definitely
Sheen.
have a lot better of a chance, right?
Yeah, like when you play aggressive, it takes out the whole like, oh, he's better than me in this way. You see it when we play together, right? Whenever we face up against a duo Smurf, right? Instantly, it's like I'm coin flipping this game level 1 because that is our best chance of winning this game. And although it doesn't go well all the time, and although it looks ridiculous when you're just getting beat and getting put behind, at least you tried, right? And that's what I mean by putting the game into your hands. Is like at least you try, at least you play something aggressive early, at least you put it all out on the table.
So
And
you're definitely a lot more in favor of something more towards the game one, where they're just like scrapping it out at all
yeah,
points in the game,
definitely.
and then hoping that the early game comes out a lot cleaner, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I definitely see your point
Hmm.
where, I mean, clearly they haven't been able to show that they're on the level of. I just realized I'm on team one. Let me go ahead and move over. But to continue my point, they haven't really shown that they're able to match the macro of Sunnyside JV. But what I will say is that their team fighting hasn't been too far behind, right? It's
Hmm.
just the more so the fact that they're extremely far behind in these team fights that they're not coming out ahead. So
And that's what
I
I'm
think,
saying, bro.
yeah,
If you have a
exactly. So
lead,
I think I can see where you're coming from, where they blow open. But that's why I still think that
hey.
at least I think getting Duyangu on something scaling would be pretty cool because we
But
saw that he's
everything
able
else,
to take over fights, and then everything else is
everything
just like
else, just
you guys have to at least stay even, please.
no, no,
And then
no, no,
I think
not that
Duyangu can
stay even
close the game.
mentality. I want everyone to just 4-man walk into the jungle
Well, of
level 1.
course,
Look, man,
ideally you want to
look.
have that
All
mentality
I'm
of yes,
saying
we're gonna win.
is top esports is in the semifinals, and FlyQuest managed to take a game. That's all I'm saying. You picking
Right,
up what I'm putting down?
exactly.
I'm
It's all
talking
about
I'm talking aggression, you know? I'm talking just a little bit of flavor, just leaving it all on the table, you know? That's what I'm personally talking about here. I don't know how you feel. I don't know if you've been in this situation often when you're down 2-0. I know I have a decent amount, man.
yeah, man.
Hmm.
Probably not actually. Now that I think about it, but
Look,
either
man,
way, I have been in that.
a wise man once said, "When in doubt, coin flip it out." You know what I'm saying?
So you're looking for a coin flip the third game.
Is that not what you have to do at sometimes? If you know you're gonna get behind early, you just might as well just play super aggressive, right?
Right, and hope you come out with some lead. I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, for what it's worth, I think the first 5 minutes of free agents games have been solid,
It's the roller coaster
and then
analogy,
some.
right?
I don't know what I
Dude,
just don't. It's like a switch flips where everyone just decides to do something kind of like they like don't think entire. They don't think it through entirely, right?
mhm.
And it's just like that one slip up gets punished very hard because I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of the teams
it's
here
like,
are very
yeah,
good at punishing it, and
mhm.
as a result, the game just blows open because it happens simultaneously in like almost every lane
Yeah.
and like every game.
It's almost like everything's going very calm, very nice, and then for some reason everyone simultaneously is like, I mean, we do got to get ahead eventually at this game, right? It's like, uh-huh. All right, so everyone on every single part of the map make a play, and it's just like, no, no, then that's mechanic testing. You don't want to mechanic test against players, man. Even me, I don't like mechanic testing against players. I don't got hands.
Alan, I am sorry to cut you off, but we are into the draft, and we do see Church of Malphite being hovered. Same bands coming out from both
Wait, we've
sides,
been in the.
except the Syndra getting swapped in, and so Jid and Malphite Yasuo is looking a lot like Game 1 for Sunnyside JV. High Prio being placed from free agency onto Nautilus. I think they picked the first two champs as Nautilus and Kaisa. So Jin was first picked once again. And so Kaisa is something I've not seen Chezzy on, but like we said, you gotta leave all your cards out on the table, especially when you're
Mhm.
down 2-0. I'm excited to see it. I mean, Nautilus Kaisa, you want to see scrappy? Nautilus Kaisa's gonna get scrappy. They're gonna go in
Ooh,
fourth shot every time. Karma coming out. Who do you think that's going to? Do you think that's a Duyangu pick, or do you think that's a
that's Karma Jungle.
Jinlo? Do you think that's Karma Jungle?
I mean, have you ever played Karma Jungle? It's actually not that bad. I swear. No,
It
I
is
don't.
not that bad, but I do not see it
I
being
don't
played.
see.
I
I
definitely
can
played it.
look.
I do not see GXT playing it though.
That's fair. Do you think? Wait. Hold up.
My prediction
Funnel?
is I think Duyangu takes it. I do not think it's funnel. I think Duyangu takes it. I do notice Sunnyside JV has not banned out, and I will wait. Okay, that is the champion I was expecting. The Graves gets banned out. I thought that it was going to be Karma top into Graves,
Do you think
in
it's
which case
Karma mid?
I'm pretty. I think it's Karma top.
Oh, you think it's Karma top? Okay, so
Yes,
I think it's either Funnel or Karma mid.
I think Duyangu would have pulled it out, but which leaves me confused as to what Shaco. Shaco just got locked in.
I mean, we're talking
GXT is
about
playing
putting it
Shaco.
all on the table, man.
That is not a funnel champion. Would you agree?
That's not a Funnel champion. No, this is not Funnel. So Funnel being taken out of the mid. I just want one other person to do it, so I can't get flamed, man.
Hey man, well that's not happening today. It looks like unless
Oh my God, Volley
and the
Bear.
volley bear. That is a pick that I'm surprised has taken so long to come out. Brand as well. We know he likes to play that champion a lot. But Volley Bear is a champ I thought would be extremely high prio this series, and I'm surprised it's barely coming out in game 3. But nonetheless, a welcome sight to see. Sunnyside JV is going
What
to be
is
very
going
happy to
on?
see that. Kiana, you said you want Scrappy, Alan. They're giving you Scrappy. Kiana's going to be making
Okay,
plays.
but
Shaco's going to
Scrappy,
be
it's a
playing in their face.
Malphite.
Yeah, that is
Okay, you know what? I'm down for it, man. If free agents believes, I'm a believer. You know. What's that copy pasta? If there's 1,000,000 free agent fans, I'm one of them. If there's 1,000 free agent fans, I'm one of them. If there's only 10 free agent fans, I'm one of them.
If there are no more free agents fans, it is because I am no longer on this earth. So I am excited to see. And like I said, I'm not gonna brag, but my prediction of Karma top lane was
Okay,
definitely
yeah,
correct.
okay. Look, man, I just desperately thought that GXC would do a funnel. I just got called a simp in chat. It's perfectly fine. I believe that free agents can make this into a 4-game series or maybe a 5-game series. We'll see with what type of fire they decide to play with. They're hitting the R's in the chat. How you feeling, man? How's your voice holding up? Can your
Uh,
voice handle 3 mores?
hey man, it's a sacrifice I'd be willing to make. But I actually wanted to touch on something from the draft.
Mhm.
So they did throw out this Karma pick, right? In
Mhm.
which case I was thinking, all right, they're gonna pair this with the Graves. But at that point, why wouldn't they pick the Graves before the Karma, right?
Yeah,
Because
there's
then
no
we
way
saw
they
the
expect the karma, right?
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that Sunnyside JV sees the Graves pick and they're like, all right, guys, we gotta ban Karma.
Yeah.
So very odd
Mhm.
decision for the draft, unless they really have practiced the. I don't see the synergy between Shaco Karma, but we'll have to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with you, honestly. I don't know why they decided to wait so long on the Graves. I also think Olaf would have been insane here. With the Karma, it would have been
Yeah,
devastating.
usually you
Uh,
want to pair up that Karma with
I
a lot
I
stronger
don't
early game jungler.
I don't know if GXC plays Kane, but a red Kane. Look, man, I'm not trying to peach the Church of Kane. You know, we moved past that. We're about the Church of Malphite, but maybe a red Kane here would have been deadly.
I just think when I think of pairing something with the Karma, I don't think Shaco, and I don't think of Shaco as a GXT champion.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but it
yeah.
is very, very, very scary. I
Mhm.
actually think Malphite once again, Church of Malphite. We don't have to harp on it any longer, but
Mhm.
this is a terrifying comp for you to go against.
Yep,
Shaco
definitely.
into Malphite, Kiana into Malphite. Like, what do you do, right? Like,
We're
what do you
confirming
do?
here on broadcast we're not letting that Malphite through in our series tomorrow if SunnysideJV takes this game. Can we confirm? T4D, can I get a secondary confirmation?
I would have to confirm that. And if free agency somehow manages to pull up this game despite what I would consider huge draft issues, I bet Shaco's getting banned out, man. Because
If they win this game because
clearly
of
it's
Shaco,
working magic. It's working some magic, clearly.
hey man.
But
Dude, sometimes you gotta resort to the dark arts, you know, some people pull out funnel in game 5 when their back is against the wall. Uh, some people pull out Shaco.
hey, man, I'm hoping to see a pivot into AP Shaco. I think
Hmm.
it's a lot better, and I think it makes it so that Malphite can't just stack armor and win the game. I mean, for what it's worth, they do have Kaisa, who is pretty good at itemizing that AP in the bot lane. So the armor stack won't be the most efficient, but it's still like that Malphite is gonna be that timer we talked about, right? Until he gets those items and just eventually starts ulting into your team without ever dying. Against again once again paired up with that Yasuo, so huge threats coming out. And I think again free agents has been struggling a little bit with the draft, and
Hmm.
I think this third game might honestly I think it might be even harder to execute than the last game.
You really think so?
I do, just because
Uh,
I think
uh,
that comp that they picked the champions into, I don't even think the comp itself.
uh,
Excuse me, I don't think the comp itself. I just think that the champions in which they like, especially the Malphite and the Volibear,
hmm.
it's scary for me, right?
Yeah, it is a difficult comp, but I feel like how many games does Sunnyside JV have against the Shaco? I want to say like none, right?
No, Sis moved to top lane, so I don't think that
You don't
I don't
think
think
they
there's
have
any.
any games practice? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel pretty confident that if free agents can take any game, it should definitely be this one, right?
I mean, I
Or
think that's what they're hoping, right? They threw it out in game 3, backs against the wall. They're hoping
mm,
this. They're hoping exactly what you're preaching right now. That the Shaco pick manages to flip over this flip around the series, but only time will tell. We'll see if this early game that they've been struggling with comes out a lot cleaner. They definitely drafted for it, so hey man, I'm ready to cast 5 games if need be. I'm willing to sacrifice my voice, but
yeah.
first and foremost, free agents has to completely flip the script on the early game.
Hmm. Yeah. I haven't been able to speak. These games have been so bloody. It's just been non-stop play-by-play. So I mean, I'm ready to go 5 games, and if free agents takes our advice about playing aggressive early and just going shit for a good old coin flip, a good old aggression, early game aggression, don't think I'll be talking much either. But I wish your voice the best of luck. At least we have until Malphite hitting level 6 before we see a little bit of aggression from SunnysideJV. We'll see what free agents do. I'm really excited. We'll see how GXT knows how to path. We'll see if he knows how to do the red buff Raptor clear. I think that clear is the most impressive clear I've seen. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Where the
The one
boxes
where
kill the
you set up
raptors
the
by
wrap.
itself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
one's
clear is
pretty clean.
insane.
No, that one makes me think like, damn, Shaco's actually kind of overpowered.
Right? I mean, the fact that he clears that fast. But then you
Everything
realize that's all he does is just his level 3.
right after that is pretty miserable. It seems
Yep.
like.
I would agree. Hopefully he does go an AP build because they are lacking AP, or maybe Kai'Sa will go the AP. We'll just have to see. I mean, there's a lot that we can't really tell until we get into a game, and lucky for us, we got 10 seconds left on the clock. I'm excited.
I I know I've been asking you about the jungle matchups,
Uh huh.
but I feel like I'm not sure that you yourself have too much experience on either side of this matchup, right?
Nope. I hate Volibear. I think it's a terrible champion, and I dislike Shaco as well. I think both of the champions are not good at all. But I tell you what they are good against. I don't play them, so can't really tell you how to do their combos or anything. But what I can tell you is they want to make a play before like level 6, both of them, right? They want to get
Right.
snowballing, and I think that'll be the name of the game for the jungle matchup, right? Is who can get the first successful gank off first.
Right, and we know B-Boy Slow is no stranger to getting those early ganks off early. I mean,
Mm.
he's definitely gank heavy. I'm not gonna be surprised if we see a quick like level 3 gank, like buff Gromp type of gank. I
Mm.
mean, one thing to note, GXT is running that Dark Harvest,
Yep.
so I think that's pretty indicative of an AP build, which I'm
Yep.
glad he made that adaptation. I think AP Shaco is just a lot better in general, but especially into this team comp. And as we see in the top lane, we see that the Comet Malphite, which is also pretty smart. I mean, you're not ever gonna get those grass procs into the Karma, but honestly, one thing I do want to look at is the bottom lane, right? If you look at the matchups, Kai'Sa and Nautilus should destroy Jin Brand. That Brand should never get to play the game. Just
Yep.
I think that was an extremely greedy pick, but I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit more.
I mean, you're the support main, man. For me personally, I do know I is very comfortable on that pick, and I don't necessarily think it'll matter, just simply based on the fact that when SunnysideJV plays, they just play together. They don't necessarily really care about matchups or anything, because at the end of the day, when are you gonna find them isolated? Never. We just saw the last game that they went into the top side and Jax is solo laning bottom lane at 8 minutes 50 seconds into the game. So as far as lane matchups, Chezzy and Ultra Leal will have a very limited amount of time to abuse it, right? Maybe the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes of the game before it gets influenced from outside factors.
Right, but that's a combo that's lethal from level 1. I mean, one thing
Mm.
that I do want to see out. Okay, and we did load into the game. They are warded out. Oh, Charlie. Oh, and the rest of the team walk over this ward, and the Tribe Russian is just looking doomed. They don't check that next bush. Sunny said JV knows they're in here. Will they check themselves? They see Shaco walk back out.
Oh
Ches
no.
stays, Jimbo stays. Oh no.
Oh
They see him
no,
get
oh
caught
no,
up.
oh no.
Okay. B-Boy Slow starts the Q but doesn't decide to pull the trigger. Wow, and that there has
Oh,
quit the game.
oh,
A summoner has
oh.
There.
joined.
Oh,
It was
so we do.
It was a get down Mr. President angle for Chezzy.
Oh man, that was scary. I would just like my life flashed before my eyes seeing them walk over that tri-bridge.
Transition. So they can't see anything. I'm new to production. I haven't been able to transition or monitor the production like I've liked, but we are going to do one thing, and that's avoid both teams getting any information if they look at the stream while it's paused. Little bit concerning to see the fact that Shaco didn't start placing his boxes before the buff spawning. Buff spawns in 15 seconds, no boxes. Oh, game is back on.
Yep, and like you said, I don't really see the point. I mean, I see the idea because they have a Nautilus, right? But that kind of just destroys the Shaco's early clear. I mean, we see he just gets one box down onto the buff he's starting, so
Oh,
definitely
wow.
no creative clears like you were hoping. But I mean, maybe this is a little bit saved by the fact that Kaisa gives some of the best leashes in the game. But we see B-Boy Sliv's already walking up towards his blue buff, and Shaco's barely finishing his first camp. So the clear is already looking a little doomed right now. And we see Shaco. What do you think he's going for here?
No idea. He should know that they started red. Yeah, I don't know what he's necessarily going for. He may be a bit lost. This is really awkward pathing. If this gank does not work out, this is going to be a very, very bad time for the side of free agents.
So the ward did time out in that tri-bridge. GXT is playing
my.
it patiently. He goes over the wall, flashed over by Out Charlie Out. When
Oh,
he gets
let's
the
go!
window, Chezzy gets the first blood. Glizzy God isn't able to get anything in return. Chezzy's continuing the trade. Oh, he levels up. He gets that HP. That's pretty huge. In the top lane, hands it over. Let's see what's going on in the bot lane though. Glizzy God, I mean, you said the gank had to work out. Gank works out. So now how's the game looking? What do you think?
It's looking like it's a perfectly okay type of game. You know what we need to do? Oh, okay, the Malphite dancing a little bit. Still has 2 corrupting pods. Doesn't really mind the CC. Oh!
Okay, the flash over from Duyangu, and he has the ignite. I did not even notice that. Glizzy God's getting engaged and the hook misses, but a lot of damage driven down onto Glizzy God, but Zero's on going down. Karma has the ignite. Duyangu's leaving it all on the table. He says, I'm done playing selfishly, and Derek going onto the red buff alongside B-Boy Slow. Duyangu's able to get the collapse on. B-Boy Slow's running for his life. He has the flash. He might just have to use it here. He does. Karma tether breaks, and this is looking like a great early game for the side of free agents. We've seen it before. I mean, B-Boy Slow wanted to... Oh, no kill on the ball lane. Glizzy got all while I'm talking. Out Charlie Out gets another kill. IO has flash out. Oh my god, the early game is looking excellent for the side of free agents. I mean, all across the board. 3-0? 3-0? Or is it going to be 3-2 in reverse sweep in TES versus Fnatic fashion? What do you think, Alan?
Hey, man, hold up. Game's not finished. Job's not finished. Alright, you're a Kobe Bryant fan yourself. Job's not finished. I don't want to get too hyped yet, but that's what I like to see. When your back's against the wall, you just play your heart out, man. And you can definitely see, although the plays look really forced, I mean, the fact that they're just going out and making these plays, as I'm saying that Volibear is going to get a gank off here.
Duyangu's getting a lot of damage. It's a huge wave. Duyangu might be able to outplay this. No flash on the Volibear. He's kiting it out. The stun does go down though, and Duyangu doesn't have enough. Zerozon is able to get that kill, is able to hold the wave here. So, pretty devastating death for Duyangu. The wave's not in the best spot. We see Zerozon is pushing back towards him. He might not lose too much here, but definitely not ideal when you want to be that lane bully on the Karma, especially when you want to ignite, right?
I think the Karma's in a decent position. It's not like Malphite's ever gonna be able to one-shot the Karma.
Right.
If the Malphite builds MR, which he is, it's gonna be very detrimental for him because he's gonna just get melted by the rest of the team.
Right, because the Kiana, well, actually, now that I think about it though, I mean, Shaco went AP, right, which is what we wanted.
Yeah.
But then, is Kiana really ever gonna be the threat? I mean,
Alright, look,
either way,
you gotta think about how that baits you.
With AP build, right? Because she does have a lot of, she has that % health damage.
Yeah.
So.
And then
I mean,
with the
either
Rage
way-
Blade gets pen. But here, listen, okay? We're playing the gotcha game, right? So they're gonna see the Malphite rushing MR, right?
Right.
And then they're gonna build MR. And then Kiana, the damage on the squish, Kiana's damage is not something low. I think Jin, Brandon, Yasuo is not gonna have a fun time. And then you have a Yasuo based team comp without the Yasuo. I don't think it's gonna be looking too hot for the side of SunnysideJV if they fall into the trap. I know I'm joking a little bit. See if they'll follow them out by building MR, but maybe they will. We'll have to see. I mean, that's gonna be a very important factor to this game, right?
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And something else that we touched on earlier was the bot lane. I mentioned how volatile Brand shouldn't get to play the game, and we see it. I mean, 15 CS deficit on the side of SunnysideJV, something we really haven't seen this series. But they said, I mean, the series not over, game's not over. So Chezzy and Ao Charlie Ao is showing that they're not to be messed with. And GXC with the gank on the mid lane, but the box barely goes off, and the wind wall comes out, blocks all that potential damage. GXC is looking very far behind as another box comes through.
Get down, Mr. President. Cut the stream, cut the stream. Alright, we're back. Wait, is this score not? What's going on here? What's going on with this match card?
Well, you gotta swap it every game, remember? Because they're swapping sides.
That is very true. I'm gonna keep it a buck, sir. I don't know how to do that. I'm looking a fool. So we'll go on to a different topic. We see 12 the CS ahead for the Kai'Sa. Boots of Swiftness rush from the Jhin. I think that's a little bit of a bad sign for how the lane's going.
Definitely.
It's not a picture, it's a poster.
You have to pay that respect, though, right? And the game does look back in.
Let me get it. Oh my god, man.
Pings going on to the dragon from the side of free agents. This might be... Is this the first dragon that they're gonna get in the series?
I think it is, yeah, because they've gotten sold the last two games. Let's go.
Now, hold on. SSJV in response, I mean, they're getting collapsed on. Not in the best spot, free agents. They might try to finish this. B-Boy isn't able to get it. Cameron gets it, and now but the combo comes out. Unstoppable charge, forward shot going out to Glizzy Gun, and just like that, you die for the dragon, but at what cost? And Chezzy gets stunned up, Blast comes away, but it doesn't matter. He gets there, double kill for onto Chezzy. Glizzy God gets a double kill. We talk about how the lead bot lane was something, and now it's nothing, baby. That's 2 kills onto the Jhin, and all of a sudden, first dragon for the series for free agents. But at what cost, man? At what cost?
Okay, hear me out here. Alright, I'm gonna bring this back to the game 1. Do you remember when Dianyu TP'd bottom and ganked mid? And I talked about how that's one of those feelings where you press tab and you go, hey, at least my top laner is getting ahead here, right? And you see that they're still equal CS? This is exactly what's happening to Dianyu this game. I mean, props to Zeros then for being able to just turn the tides of the top lane matchup.
I mean, oh man, and that just is heartbreaking. 2k gold deficit. Darrett's going in the mid lane, doesn't have that last breath, so it doesn't matter much. But oh, I got ahead of myself there, you know. That first dragon, that was something. That was supposed to be something.
They could have lost. They could have lost the dragon.
Hey, and for what it's worth, he did manage to secure it while being a level down. Now 2 levels down, so at least that would have been the salt in the wounds for sure. So good job by GXC to get that. Now, Charlie out flashing it in the ball lane onto IO, but IO has those summoner spells. The hook hasn't come out yet. Doesn't use it, and the flash comes out late. Chezzy, all this while GXC's dying. Chezzy might be too deep. Charlie Ao's diving, and that B-Boy slow is too deep. Lizzie God's looking to turn, gets the snare onto the Jhin, onto the Nautilus rather. And now curtain call. He hasn't leveled it up. Did he level up the wrong ability? Now he uses it. Jinlo's fighting. He uses it super late. Stopwatch comes out from Charlie Ao. How is he gonna dodge this? Wait, that was the 4th shot. The snare misses. What is going on? Directed camera, you suck.
Yes, it doesn't. I'm trying to keep up myself here. Oh man. What a game, what a game. Oh.
Hey, but we're just talking about it. This is looking like a fiesta. This is exactly what Alan wanted. This is what you wanted. And
that's odds.
I mean, a 1.5k gold deficit for free agents isn't even close to the worst that we've seen. If we look at the gold charts, I mean, 1.3k out of that 1.5k is in the jungle, right? I mean, JXT's not having fun, all the while Jinlo has to flash away from IA in the mid lane. Good roam by him. 1.5k of that is it's virtually all in jungle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you still have your win con in Chezzy. He has those 3 kills. Diangu's doing work in this top lane as he gets that good trade onto Zerozon. All the while, it's flashback, gank from the Tri-Brush. Unstoppable force. He's trying to cut away, but he has nothing. He flashes super late, and I don't know why you're expecting that. But all the while, they're responding with the kill onto Darrett, and Shaco gets that kill. So, I mean, free agents are swinging. They respond with a kill of their own, and then once again, Darrett not recognizing the state of the game, not recognizing my jungler is top lane, the bot lane is missing. What do? I should just stay away. But stay away he does not, and he gives up another kill. So gold is the same deficit that it was before, 1.5k. And I mean, kill on the Shaco is nice. I mean, closes a little bit of that gap, but all the while B-Boy Slow is getting that Rift Herald on the top side. So what are the next 5 minutes of the game looking like for both sides?
I mean, we're gonna have to see in about a minute how the team fight at the Dragon is gonna go. Hopefully we don't see free agents getting picked off so they can't use the Herald. Maybe they'll use the Herald so they can get the Dragon pretty early on. Oh, that was a little close. Too close for comfort in my opinion, but we're gonna see how the second team fight comes out. Whoever wins this second team fight is basically in the driver's seat for the game. Oh,
Diangu's looking in the bushes.
No
He didn't
way.
check the least obvious one. Zerozon's pretty
No
low,
way.
but this isn't good for Diangu as it's a repeat. I'm getting flashbacks again. He used that flash last time around, and oh no, he does not have that heal from the tether. B-Boy Slow decides to not save the ulti and just double down, and now Diangu is having such a hard time versus his jungle. But again, the response in the mid. Darrett does not care what his team is doing. Darrett is trying to get the kill, and he does. He gets the kill onto Jinlo, but 1 for 1. I mean, that hurts for free agents. I mean, good play by them, but Jinlo maybe overcommitting a little bit, and good job by Darrett to get that response kill.
they do
And
get the second Dragon, however, right? Free agents should get the second Dragon. I may have spoke too soon.
I'm not sure.
I may have spoke too soon.
Diangu's walking up, no TP. Malphite has TP, and we
Oh,
see it
no.
coming out. This is
Oh,
disaster.
no.
This is disaster. B-Boy Slow's coming up from behind. The team just dibs on GXT. They say, I don't care. You're going to have to 50-50 that one. I kind of like that call. SunnysideJV is not leaving him an opportunity to not, and he steals it away. GXT said, I want to die for this, and it does not pay off. They say, that's the only way we're going to win this game, but oh, that is heartbreaking. But at least they did not commit the entire team this time around.
Oh no.
Oh, the
no.
Unstoppable Force, and before I can even mutter the words, Unstoppable Force, Zerozon over the wall into the last breath from the Yasuo. And oh man, that's a lot of plates going down. As we can see, top lane, they use that Rift Herald top lane. 1 play left on free agents top lane turret. Ow, Charlie, ow, what are you doing once again? You walk up to the wave, and for what reason?
Oh no.
Zerozon, no way. No way that happened. Why did you take? There was not going to pick up aggro. That is not how turret aggro works, my friend. God, what a mess. What a mess. And all the while GXT is face checking
Oh,
to the
no.
volley bear. Might just get one shot. You say it's a bad champion, but B-Boy Slow makes it look overpowered, and now Chezzy might beg to differ. B-Boy Slow does not have that ultimate, but the force shot comes out to Glizzy God. Glizzy God is trying to get this kill, and Chezzy cannot turn it around even with the heal on the ultimate. Double kill for B-Boy Slow.
That is that it's a little disheartening. It's oh my god.
Why
He's gonna walk
are
into the
they
box.
just-
Oh my god. No, wait, is Bully Bear gonna walk into the box?
But I think he's gonna get turned away. He's gonna get turned away. Current call comes down. Jinlo can't dodge. He dodges the force shot. He manages away with a stare.
Oh my
God! What is this Cloud Fiesta AOE specialty? Oh my god! And look at Glizzy God. He's sitting in that bush. But Jinlo knows, or does he know?
No, he doesn't.
Jinlo doesn't know.
Oh,
Oh no!
Oh,
Turn around!
no!
No, he can't. Yeah, he hugs the wall, and as a result, he sets snare to the chops. Glizzy got another kill. He said, "You said Kiana's not gonna let Jinlo or Glizzy God have a fun time, but Glizzy God begs to differ. He's winning that 1v1, baby."
It's
Wow.
it's just a barn burner, man. Hey man, if there's any way to go out, at least go out just
Hold
fighting.
on, I don't mean to cut you off, but Zerazon, you are standing on a ward. You have a flash, but Unstoppable Force. He's not greedy with the cooldown. Gets the hell out of there. He said, "I don't care about your rose, baby. I'm getting out of here."
Oh my god, in this game, we have SunnysideJV yet again averaging a kill per minute. Oh, I
God.
think this might be one of the bloodiest series we've ever had in the history of AOE. I'm pretty
We
sure.
will ever have.
Oh!
Jinlo gets hit by that. Oh, it doesn't take the last breath. There it says, I don't care about the kill. I think the Gromp is worth more. And he dips onto that minion wave. Jinlo is not able to have much of an impact on this game. 2 levels down, all the while they're looking on the plan in the mid lane. Flashes to keep the tether. The ultimate coming out from the okay, and Chezzy's able to pick up the kill. I might have committed, but he's baiting into B-Boy Slow. Flashes away. Chezzy flashes to follow, but it might have not been the right play. B-Boy Slow is tanky, so he's able to walk out. All the while, Jinlo's walking up. You don't want to fight that. You're behind. Jinlo misses. He throws out the green grass, and he gets ignited. I don't know what I'm saying, but goodness gracious, Jinlo, you're down a level. You're down like 2,000 gold. Why are you buying that? GXT is the next challenger up. Darrett dashes out of the box. He says, "I don't care about your box. Your champion sucks." The tornado onto both. Out Charlie out gets his hook blocked by the wind wall. Goodness gracious. This is a barn burner to say the least.
Hey man, if you're gonna go down in your at your tempo. If he thought he could have won that, I don't see an issue with trying to fight. But maybe if he had someone else with them, I think that's a point that they're missing. They need to start making these plays together, and I think they can definitely come back into the game.
I will tell you what, I don't care that they're trying to make these plays. I love that they're trying to make these plays. The plays are not made, and this is a play I do love, GXT, but the box, you gotta put it further up, buddy. Derek just win walls. Out Charlie, I was looking for the hook, isn't able to hit. Jinlo gets the clean combo, ulting into the wall. Derek misses the flash over the wall. PD's not gonna save you. Shut down from goes on to Jinlo. That's 800 gold going over, so that is huge.
This could still go either way, despite it was 6k gold lead at the first dragon, right? It was a 6k gold lead in the very beginning minutes of the game, or probably like 10 minutes into the game, and it's still a 6k gold lead. But you know what that means, right? This is what we're gonna say. This is a positive twist we're gonna take on it. Okay, that means free agents have not been getting further behind, and for me personally, I would say their comp scales a little more. We do see the Zonius coming out from the Malphite. That's.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
You don't hate it? That's a little
Okay,
concerning.
I kind of hate it. I do kind of hate it. I think you just build tank and you never die, and you do more work that way. But
I think.
what do I know?
So what do you do as a support main? Is that what you're saying?
I'm a support player, man. I'm a support player.
I don't know, man. Your Kalissa's pretty nuts.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, as you said, I mean, the gold lead has not gotten worse.
Oh.
Yankees getting fought on, and I think he didn't respect their damage, but he is able to walk out. What I will say is Duyangu is not going to be the biggest of factors. I mean, he's basically a second support, right? I mean, yeah, who we usually look to carry. And GXT, you're not safe in your jungle, buddy. Zero's on, neither are you. You're walking through the river, but he says unstoppable force over the wall. Curtain call coming out from Glizzy God. Just to say, hey man, these are warning shots. Get off my top laner. Zerazon does not care. He is just gonna charge his way out of every gank all the while. And now on the top lane, Darrett is able to get a kill somehow to do Yangu. And now in the mid lane, Jinlo goes down. I'm not even able to keep up with all these plays. I think he looks for a play onto the Glizzy God, but Out Charlie Out now falls too because he tried to back up his mid laner. And just as I'm trying to emphasize that the game has not gotten any worse, it's a caster curse. I make everything worse. I make them older. I make the game go worse. And now that Rift Herald going on into mid lane. Maybe SunnysideJV is overcommitting a little bit. GXT is looking for the play from behind. That is a fake. You are using all your mana onto a fake. He does not care. It's gonna explode on the Glizzy God, and they might be able to turn. I would chase this if I were you. Diango's here. No unstoppable force on Malphite. They're low on HP. Please tell me you chase this down. But they're content. They just take the wave. They take the Rift Herald. They say, we need a breather. And quite frankly, so do I.
Oh man, dude. I need to know how quickly this Kai'Sa's Mirror Mana will be completed. It's still at 557. That is way farther behind than you want it to be. I think Kai'Sa is the only way that free agents can get back into this game. A nice key on ultimate with the Kai'Sa, with Shaco boxes causing a nuisance, setting up that at the objective first. So when SunnysideJV does engage first, it'll be a very, very, very rough time, right?
Right. And I mean, I'm gonna refrain from talking about the state of the game because, quite frankly, I've noticed every single game I've said something, and then
It's a
all
caster
goes,
curse. It's
goes
a
down.
caster
It is
curse,
a
man.
caster curse, quite honestly, I'll let you talk about the state of the game.
Alright, I'm gonna talk about the state of the game.
By-
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna test if the caster curse is real. SunnysideJV is doing a great job this game. We're gonna be able to see if they can close it out. They should be able to close it out within the next 3 minutes. Here's hoping that free agents can get a little bit of luck. See if the caster curse is using anything I can so free agents can get a little bit of help in this game. Oh man, it is a rough time for them, but Karma does have the Athenes and Ardent finish. Oh no, they're going for the end here.
They're just going straight down mid lane, and I just feel a fight of brewing. They say we have Ollie ult. Okay, that's the way ulti onto the support, but he disables both turrets.
Oh my god!
And all of a sudden, the combo we wanted, Jared is gonna go down. That's 3 for 0 perfect free agents. Hook onto the inhibitor turret. Lizzie God, he's too fast to get hooked. Chezzy's going in, trades flash. He doesn't have the ulti, but he might be able to chase. B-Boy Slow's looking like he wants to turn, but you don't want to do that, buddy. And all of a sudden, free agents, just like you said, you're going for Raptors. Chezzy's right there. B-Boy Slow, you have flash, but you don't want to use it. GXT's gonna follow. He fixes the flash. It doesn't work. Oh, but he kills the jungler. Shutdown goes on to Chezzy, but you have a Kai'Sa. You don't need a jungler. You got a Kai'Sa, baby.
Oh my god.
You got an Ardent Center, and all of a sudden, free agents, they have a way. They might be able to pull out the first Baron of their series. And it's going down. It's going down. This is a Baron for free agents, and all of a sudden, it's looking like a disaster for SunnysideJV. I can't believe B-Boy Slow tried that. Let me just say that. I cannot believe he tried to do that.
If anyone would try that, it would definitely be him. And oh my god, I think the caster curse might be real, man. Oh no, I might be a believer in the caster curse. Oh no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I just want free agents to get any lead they can. Oh my god.
Oh my god, and I mean, that was clean though. I mean, okay, Zerazon was stuck down. That was just so forced. He flashes. It's like those plays where you see the Malphites are like, I don't know if you saw Tyler one clip recent where he's like, watch this. And hold on, there might be another fight. I mean, they're a little too late to contest a dragon, but they might think they win the fight. Okay, Jinla's looking onto the backline. Zerazon's a little far behind. Flash comes out of here. Glizzy got heals. He's trying to type or something. He pressed D or he pressed F. So no heal on the Jin, but anyways, going back to that last fight, Jinla is good. It's like that Tyler 1 Malphite play where he says watch this and then he flashes and then he blows the Fiora parry and then he ultis.
I've never
like
seen that clip. That's hilarious.
That little hesitation where you're like flashing for nothing, hoping they'll react, and they did not react.
Alright, so I'm hoping, right? Hear me out. I think SunnysideJV will end the game in the next 2 minutes. Alright, here's hoping the caster curse comes back one more time.
I'm trying to see more of this. I'm trying to cast more of this, man. So keep cursing. Let's see. I mean, GXT isn't in the best of positions, but he is Shaco, and they do not decide to follow him. Chezzy is picking up all these waves in the mid lane. Inhibitor early game isn't the best, and we see why. I mean, Chezzy is actually ahead about 1,500 gold. He picks up that Zonia's.
Oh,
are
double
you
redemption.
a fan of this pickup?
No, I'm not a fan of the Zonia's pickup.
What would you have liked to see in here? I think Nasher's Tooth would have been a lot better, right, if you're trying to carry the game?
Oh, from the side of Chesney. I thought you were talking about the mount fight. Yes, from Chesney, I would have
Oh,
much rather
whoa,
preferred the
whoa,
Nash's
whoa.
I mean,
Malphite Nashers too. I mean, I know I'm a support player, but
I
I
got very
come on,
confused
I
when he
know how
said
to
the
play the
Nash's too. I was like, wait a
game.
second, we're talking about the same champion? No, we
I'm
are
talking
not,
about
thankfully.
Tyson, the bottom lane. I think Chezzy should have gone for the Nashers too. I think
Mhm.
he's the one. He has to put on his big boy pants. Chezzy, it's your back's against the wall. You gotta win this game to keep your hopes alive, man. I think Nashor's Tooth, you got your karma, man. You got a lot of ways to keep yourself alive. So not a
Yep.
big fan of the itemization, but
Mhm.
we'll see if it pays off.
I mean, and this
And
is a,
now play on
oh,
an
that does not
EXP,
work.
manage to go invisible. That does not work. That invisibility does not work like that anymore. And now the
Oh,
current
wow.
call, they're still looking though. But Shaco ulti coming out. I mean, you're looking a little desperate. I don't know if Out Charlie Out wants to be here either. However,
Oh.
I could be wrong. Chezzy gets ultied. Oh no, the Zonias does come out huge though. But I don't know if they have the damage. Chezzy, oh, the redemption heals. The shields from the Karma. Jinlo's able to pick up zeros on the hook on the Ion. All of a sudden, it's a 3-for-0 in favor. Jinlo's looking for Glizzy God. All the while, Derek pushes the mid lane, but doesn't get anything, and it's just looking like a comeback. The chase down onto Derek. He's getting greedy. Last breath under the support, but Diego flashes away. Snare, Derek, out Charlie, out. Gets the shields from the Karma. Double knockup from the Tornado. PD, he might be winning. Does he get the double kill? Double kill from Jin onto Diego and Derek. Just as we say, he's getting greedy. He's able to turn that for no good reason. He's going for out Charlie.
Oh
out.
my God.
GXT, give him the pentakill, will ya? Oh my god, Darren just 1v4'd. How does he do it? He does not have the last breath, and all of a sudden, as we said, the game was turning on its head. We cast our curse it way too soon. Oh my god, and all of a sudden, there's 3 in the base. GX2 the last one. 10 seconds on Chezzy, 10 seconds on
Oh
Jinlo.
my
That's a kill
God.
for Darren! How did he do it? How did he do it? And just as we said, Free Agents is going to be able to turn the game. They just lose the game, it seems. But I don't want to speak too soon. Chezzy's back up. Derek, can he do another one? 1v3. He's dashing through them, but he doesn't have the tools. He kills
Oh
Jello.
my
Maybe
God.
he does. Last breath. Chezzy can't kill him. Another double kill. No, that's sad. He's good. He's still alive. He can't. Oh, Charlie, outcast.
Oh my God.
Oh my god. Derek just did another 1v3 play. And all of a sudden, Glizzy goes down, but it doesn't matter. Derek's still alive. That's clear MVP for Game 3, and it's looking like SunnysideJV with backs against the wall are able to end the game in 27 minutes. 3-0, baby. Derek said, we are not losing.
Oh my God. I don't. Oh, I feel like I've said this so much. I don't know what's going on, man. Oh, that was such a. Oh man, I felt it. I felt it in my bones, man. I felt the comeback cooking, and oh man, they just couldn't close out the game. They couldn't. They couldn't do. But
I can't breathe. I can't
oh my
breathe.
God, they
My
couldn't do
voice
it.
is gone. My voice is gone.
It was so close. It was this close. It was
I
this
can't
close.
believe it. I think we all. I think we all need a breather.
And out
So
of everyone, we were kind of criticizing Darren early on in the first 2 games. Like, hey, this guy keeps going for plays when no one's around him.
Let me say,
Uh-huh.
when they collapsed on him in the mid lane,
Mhm.
I was like, Derek, once again, he's overstepping his boundaries. And I think I started muttering that. And then I saw him take down Jinlo. And then all of a sudden, he's turning. He gets the double kill from one Q. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, who's going to kill him? He has a Dust Dance. And he just managed to pull off one of the craziest plays I think I've seen in AoE. Maybe a little bit of misplay from Free Agents, but I do not care. He was not that far ahead to be making those kinds of plays. That was extremely impressive from Derek. And I think just like that last minute, I'm gonna have to say it. I think he deserves player of the game just for that play
That's a
alone.
player of the game. That's a player.
I
They were
think
coming
I
back.
think hold on, I
Free
think the
agents
game
was
was
coming
swinging
back.
in the opposite direction, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, free agents were coming back there, man. I was ready to give a monologue. I was gonna pull the full shocks. I said free agents. I was ready. I was creating a speech in my head. I was like, listen, you see, I never doubted them. It was looking so good. It was looking so good for the side of free agents. Diangu playing something supported. They're playing towards Chezzy and out Charlie Yao, and they're giving them a great performance. And before you knew it, man, out of everyone, out of SunnysideJV, not to discredit Derek, but it's just you never really see him making the 1v9 plays that we just saw. We've never seen that come out of him before. So for him to just pause the game, it almost felt it almost felt I don't really watch anime, but it almost felt like one of those anime battles when like a free editor is so excited, man, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna be able to finally beat the final boss, and then he just goes Super Saiyan real quick. And just says, I have something to say about the state of the game real quick. And just
And what I will say is that that was a great performance from free agents. Definitely better than the first two games we saw. And I was just so excited. Like you said, Diangu on the Karma, those shields were doing a lot of work. The redemptions from him and Al Charlie Al, that fight started off very cleanly. I mean, Chezzy, he went that Zonias, which we were kind of doubting, but it ended up saving him in that
yep.
team fight. And I was excited, but oh my god, Derek just shut down. He just crushed a whole team, hopes and dreams, single handedly. He just crushed them. He crushed their souls. I could feel it. And then if that wasn't enough,
He
he
did it
had to
again.
come. He had to do it again in their own base. He said, "I'm ready for round 2, baby." He
That
said,
sec
"I came to end this game, and I'm gonna end this game." It was insane.
I I'm very surprised of the if yesterday, right? It's like, hey, free agents is gonna make a comeback, and before they decide to make the comeback, right? Derek is the one on Sunnyside of JV to stop it. I would not have believed you. I'd have been like, you're not from the future, you're a liar. you know? Like, oh my god, out of all of them, because you can see Zerozin, his champion pool being the Riven and the Jax, right? You can see him doing that. B-Boy Slow been a common carry, right? Glizzy God, you can see him doing that. Maybe even Ayal, but depending on what mage champion he's done, right? I mean, what mage champion he's on, he could potentially get a crazy play, but did not expect it from Derek, and man, I feel like I've discredited his capabilities a little.
I mean, you said it. We were doubting it here. I mean, I think he had a little bit of a sloppy performance in that game one. Game two, like you said, you said he was player of the game. I put him up there for sure. I think
Mhm.
he played really great on the Ari. He said, "Let me run it back on the Yasuo." Like I said, man, I just can't believe it. Like I really thought he was just making another mistake by being that far up in the mid lane, but clearly he is just a lot more knowledgeable of the Yasuo powers than I am, man. And to that, I salute him. That's one of the I think that's like the third penta in AOE.
Yeah.
Uh,
First
I
one was
think
Big Boss the Dawn, right?
Big Boss Dawn when he played on the Corn Dogs. I
Yep.
think he was playing Vayne.
I'm not.
I don't remember.
That one was not on stream,
Kaisa.
unfortunately, because back then we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
stream
yeah.
all of them. We only streamed 2 games a week.
Exactly. And then yours, of course.
Mhm.
Actually, no, yours was first, right? Because this was season 3. So the Azir pentakill, of course, against my team.
Uh huh.
Your Brickdale Senior Living, then Big Bossadon, and then Derek picking up this one. I think this was the most impressive. Maybe not exactly because of the pentakill,
Mhm. I think the
but
second fight was more impressive than the initial. The initial,
really,
yeah, the second one, that one was 1,000%. Dude, the way he canceled, he canceled his auto. He went auto Q E. He went auto Q EQ instantly for onto the. I think it was Chezzy on that second fight. I wish I had the replay, but that one was way more impressive because on the first one that he did mid, it was a little bit of he was starting it off slow. It looked like he didn't necessarily knew what he was getting himself into, and then he was able to capitalize on it. Not trying to discredit
right?
it. It was still very clean, but you can kind of see in his gameplay like, am I able to do this? But on the second one, he was just feeling himself, and he just
Yeah,
canceled his autos perfectly. Cause I back then, yeah, when you faced me and Brookdale Senior leaving, I was one tricking also for the longest time because I had found the champion really fun. So I was just really able to identify how he was canceling the autos. So that's why I think the second one is much more impressive. And I think for anyone who plays Yasuo, they'd be able to understand what I mean on that one.
hey man,
That
I
was a
was
good play.
just screaming at the top of my lungs,
Mhm.
trying to keep up, trying
Yeah.
to get it hype. So I did not get to look, but I think either way, you can look at both of those plays. I hope someone can clip those for us, but
Yep.
we can look
Please,
at
if
both of those
anyone
plays and
can.
just just be like, holy crap, this Derek guy. For all the doubts that we had at some points throughout the series, he just shut us up real quick, and now all we can talk about right there. And I mean, for what it's worth, SunnysideJV, looking at the bigger picture here, manages to come out 3-0 over free agents, and
Yeah.
so that means that they are going up against us
Tomorrow,
this
yeah.
big game tomorrow. I
Mhm.
mean, we'll see. It's looking like a very valuable experience for us. Very good series panning out,
Mhm.
but oh man, that was
Uh,
just ridiculous.
I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow, and then just to end off, because this does end off free agents chapter. Their journey does end here, and that last game, it felt like they were getting it together, man. It felt like they were getting together. Yep, Fresno State is streaming. We're gonna wrap up here shortly, but just wanted to say some kind words to free agents, man. One can only imagine if you guys played like this the entire series, where you guys just went together and made plays together, because then you would have learned a lot quicker than making different plays. If everyone's on the same page, you understand that it wasn't a good call, because then you don't have to identify who didn't follow up or anything. If everyone follows up, right? I think that's the number one rule when you make a team. It's everyone needs to follow up, because then that you can easily identify why a play didn't go as well as it did. But I mean, I hope everybody on that team learned this lesson. Um, at the end of the day, that everyone's when you get on a free agent team, they're your teammates and you gotta trust them. There's nothing you can do about it. And honestly, it makes me sad because seeing this last game, it was there. You just had to be pushed to for it to come out, and it's very unfortunate that you guys weren't able to close out the game. Um, and the journey ends here because oh man, I would have been excited to see some more of this, right? So something more chaotic where they were flexible. They're playing towards bot side here. Usually they would always play to top side. JXT was ruining his jungle, like I 100% feel like every jungler knows that if you level 2 gank and if it doesn't work or if you don't get the kill, you're not gonna have a fun time. And JXT did it, and he did it consistently that last game. He knew. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I could not have said it any better. Free agents definitely, despite all the struggles, look like they're pulling it together in that third game, and just those little mistakes ended up costing them huge, insane outplays by Derek. But free agents, I mean, for what it's worth, team of just random players thrown together,
yeah.
came out and they showed that they had a lot of fight in them, and to that, I mean, I don't think anyone will lack any respect for that team. I mean, it was just they gave us three exciting games here today, even despite the 3-0. I mean, they never stopped fighting, and for that, I mean, lots of respect. And I hope that we continue to see all five of these players
Hmm.
in AOE, because I mean, they all clearly are very passionate and very hardworking players.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. I hopefully everyone learns, because at the end of the day, that's why you join this, right? You just join to learn. Django's new, GXT is new. I hope all of y'all learn. Like from day one, you gotta understand. Of course, you gotta play into everyone, because not everyone can be selfish, right? Or selfless. It's very uncharacteristic, and honestly, it's very human for people not to be extremely selfless. So
Right.
hopefully you guys take that onto your next team, man. I hope to see you guys come around, especially Diangu, GXT. I know Chezzy and now Charlie Out come by. Jinlo, same thing. Um, for the new players, hope they continue to come by. I definitely want to see what they do in different teams, depending on if we're doing a draft or a pre-made team next season. But yeah.
You did say Fresno State is streaming. Was
Yeah.
that going to be on this stream,
No,
or are they?
they're starting. They're on Fresno State ES. I'm gonna link that. Any last words, T4D? Thank you for joining me on the broadcast. A little bit of an improvised casting duo. Had a lot of fun. Me personally, I had a lot of fun. I love bantering with you. You already know.
Oh,
Any last
absolutely.
words?
I had a blast. I mean, I don't ever do play by play,
Hmm.
so it was a lot of fun to just see what I could do. And hey, man, it was a lot of fun. So thanks for everyone who watched. Thanks for everyone who had a lot of fun with us. I'm glad to get this opportunity to help you guys out, and I'll catch you guys maybe sometime in the future, maybe even in these playoffs, but we'll see. Thanks a
Yep.
lot, guys. Thanks to you,
Yeah.
Alan, too, for
Yeah.
sitting alongside me here. It was a blast.
Hey man, I was just listening. I wasn't even given time to speak, man. But yeah, thank you again for everyone watching. Unfortunately for free agents, it's really sad to see that you guys' journey ends here. And SunnysideJV, gonna be excited facing you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we're just gonna run down the schedule real quick. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, SunnysideJV versus GZG, which is me and T4D. 12 o'clock, it'll be Boomer Boys versus Sunnyside Varsity. So make sure you guys come through. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining us, guys. Goodbye.